into Carson Park here in downtown Eau Claire, Wisconsin on what has been an absolutely gorgeous fall night for Level 1 of the Division 7 playoffs here in the WIAA. And it's the number 3 seeded Eau Claire Regis Ramblers at 7-2 and 6-1, the co-champions of the Clover Belt Conference, taking on the Elmwood Plum City Wolves, a 6th seed at 5-4, 4-3, a tie for third in the Dunn St. Croix Conference. Hello, everybody, and we welcome you in on the Ramblers Sports Network, on YouTube, on the Regis Catholic Schools webpage, and on Facebook as well. And, of course, to our friends listening to us on Classic Rock 92.1, rock921.com, and iHeartRadio. I'm Pete Knutson. He's Dan Zons. Our video producer is Zane Cullinan. Our radio producer is Dan Price, back in studio. Dan, this is what it's all about, right? Getting to the playoffs, getting into these moments. This is the excitement. This is what these kids dream about since day one of the season. And for both these teams, they've got visions of Camp Randall in their head, and it takes a little while to get there, but this is step number 1, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, and the fall football season's just finally came around here, and these two teams are very hard, very tough, very intense teams that are just going to go and try and drive on you no matter what. It's just going to be a really fun matchup between these two. I can already feel it.
Yeah, running. That is what these two teams do. Regis does a little bit more passing. They throw that into their inverted double wing formation. They've actually thrown in a lot more wrinkles formation-wise than we've seen even over the years. But Regis starts off this game defending Division 7 state champions. We know that they're obviously missing a lot of pieces from last year, but something Brian Brenner talks about, and you knew it playing high school ball at Colfax, Dan, is that the more you can stick together when there's injuries, maybe you don't have all the star players from a state championship team, but sometimes that brings you closer together as a team, and that's what this Rambler team has really experienced this season.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, even if you look at the stats too, they don't rely on just one person. They play a team game. They run by committee here. 27 total rushing touchdowns on the ground, 2,100 total rushing yards. Not one person has an absolute major advantage over another. I mean, Chase Kotska with 553 yards on 5.6 yards per carry. Everett Tate with 527 on 6.3 yards per carry. And then even Eden Andrews there with 353 on 5.9 yards per carry and a team-high 7 rushing touchdowns, and then multiple others with various 100 and 200-yard rushing between them all. This is just a very well-put-together team that knows how to go no matter who it is up front, no matter who it is that they have on their team. They're ready to push. They're ready to go 100%, and I expect this Regis team is going to continue on with that momentum that they came out of this regular season with tonight.
Yeah, 3-0 record in their last 3 games. They won a lot. Obviously, the Wolves had to win last week to get in, to ensure their spot in. They did that last week as well, and so it's going to be a fun one here tonight. Of course, Blake Allen will feature as the leading back for the Wolves. We'll talk more about him when we get to our starting lineups. This is the Bjorkstrand Metal Roofing pregame show. We will take a short break, and when we come back, we'll have the head coach of the Elmwood Plum City Wolves in Mike Bertzer. He'll be followed by Brian Brenner, the head coach of the Regis Ramblers. That's all coming up as part of our pregame show right here on Classic Rock 92.1 and the Ramblers Sports Network. Bjorkstrand Metal Roofing pregame show as we get set for Eau Claire Regis versus Elmwood Plum City here in Level 1. The head coach of the Elmwood Plum City Wolves, Mike Bertzer, joins us. Mike, appreciate you taking some time with us to talk a little bit about your team. And for those who out there listening who maybe haven't followed your squad as much, you kind of had to basically, to make sure you got in the playoffs, win your last game against Wood City. You've had some really good weeks here as late. Talk about
how your team's progressed, where you feel that they're at as you go into level one of the playoffs here?
Well, one of the things that has helped us is we started with a pretty young team. We started a freshman, on our defense, and actually then 2 sophomores on the offense and defensive lines. So, we were young. We had a lot of inexperienced players coming back, a lot of first-year starters. So they've progressed throughout the season and gotten better each week, and that's all we can ask.
Well, you're a team that obviously runs the ball a lot, and that's I know what you kind of hang your hat on. So let's talk a little bit about the offensive side of the ball. With those guys stepping up, you got some seniors and what, but you got a couple freshmen and sophomores who have really stepped up and progressed a lot this season, haven't they?
Yes, they have. Even to be honest, even our upperclassmen many of them had not started before this year. So they were in their first year of starting because we had a lot of seniors last year. But these freshmen have come a long way since day one. I mean, when we watch the scrimmage tape, just to see where they've developed, it's a very refreshing to see just how far, they've come throughout the year.
Like we said a little bit at the end of the season, you guys kind of had to play your way in. You lost a tough one against Spring Valley, but bounced back against Glenwood City. Was there sort of a message to the team of, hey, if you guys want to keep playing with each other, if you want to keep progressing, if you want a chance to play in the playoffs, this is the time to get it together? Because it seems, at least just from the outside looking in, that's kind of what your team did here in the last couple of weeks.
Yes, I mean, that is the message that was kind of sent, before the Spring Valley game, the talk was is if we could win out, we might be hosting a game. The other thing was is that we did talk about, we'd never want to leave it up to chance. Okay. You go in and you win out, or at least win one of the last 2, you're in the playoffs. And we definitely did not want to miss the playoffs. And, this group is a pretty special group, and they're very close. And I think that was kind of something that really hit home with them.
Well, you get to take on Regis here in level one. I don't know if get to is the right way to phrase it, but it certainly is a big task for you guys. You get to come to Carson Park and play and all that sort of thing. What's the message to your guys before they take the field on Friday night to start their playoff run?
Enjoy the moment. We all know of Regis and what they did last year and what they've done traditionally. Brian runs an unbelievable program over there. And those kids come off the ball. They hit you and they keep hitting you. Our goal is for us to go out there, not be awed by the college field and the lights and, the aura that surrounds Regis. We just got to go out and play our game, and hopefully that leads us, to a successful place.
Well, it's going to be fun to watch. Certainly, we appreciate you taking the time with us, Coach, and good luck here tonight.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
That's Coach Mike Britzer. We'll have more of the Bjorkstrand Metal Roofing pregame show when we come back.
Let's use a football.
Appreciate you taking some time with us here, and back to the playoffs, level one. Here we go. Obviously you guys want to do well and want to advance and all that, but this is a reward for the kids, isn't it? To be able to play a 10th game and to get into the late October moments. It's pretty cool, a special moment when you get to play in the playoffs, isn't it?
Yeah. Not everybody gets to be in the playoffs, and we are fortunate Carson Park is available. North Memorial aren't in, so we get Carson Park tonight on a Friday night. That's unusual for us, so we're going to take advantage of that and hopefully have a lot of fun here tonight.
We're certainly going to look forward to it.
let's talk a little bit about your road here. Obviously some ups and downs early in the season, but it seems like your guys have figured it out despite injuries, despite setbacks, whatever it might be. This team has really powered through a lot of things this season. Talk a little bit about their resilience and how they've gotten here.
Yeah, their resilience and grit has been impressive. These kids, for 16, 17, 18-year-old kids, that's impressive. This has been a season. If there's one thing that I'll remember about the season is how much they've overcome in terms of injuries. Okay. It seems like if you've been on this team, you've been injured. We've had so many guys in and out, maybe switching positions. Really hats off to our kids. They've handled it in stride each and every week. And, we've really improved from the beginning of the season. It always hasn't been a straight line or a linear progression. We've, sometimes taken 2 or 3 steps forward and taken a step back. But without a doubt, when you look at the team we were in the beginning of the season to the team we are now, it's almost remarkably different.
I'll keep it quick here and just go some keys to the game tonight. Elmwood Plum City obviously runs the ball a lot. They're a team that can kind of grind you out. Is it all about time of possession, keeping control of the ball, doing all those little things to make sure you advance tonight?
Yeah, they're really good at what they do. It's not too much different than what we do. It's more unbalanced than what we do. We're more of a balanced offense, but the philosophy is still the same. Get 3 yards, 3 yards, 3 yards kind of thing, and keep the other team's offense off the field. That being said, there might not be a lot of possessions in this game, so you got to make each possession count. And then defensively, we're going to have to find a way to stop them and get them off a schedule, because they are good at what they do and they're going to get yards, but maybe we can get a turnover here or there or get a tackle for a loss somehow and get them off a schedule a little bit.
We appreciate you taking the time. Good luck tonight. Hopefully we get to see you next week.
Thanks, Pete.
All right, that's Brian Brenner. We'll have more when we come back.
Tired of expensive healthcare without quality results? Provisions Health is here to change the game. With affordable healthcare and quality...
And welcome back in here to Carson Park as we get set for football here. Level 1 of the playoffs. It's the Eau Claire Regis Ramblers, the number 3 seed, taking on the Plum City Elmwood Wolves. The Elmwood Plum City Wolves, however you like to say it. It's Elmwood Plum City team. Since these two cities merged into their own team, they've been to the playoffs 8 times. First in 2012, they have never won a playoff game in that time. Eau Claire Regis, we know about the success. State champs last season, 2016, 2003. State runners-up in 2019, 12, 2009, and 2002. 21 playoff appearances. This is the 16th straight for Brian Brenner and his company. This Regis team, Dan, is 58-17 all-time in the playoffs as well. We know in Division 6, Division 7, whatever division it's been in, Regis has been one of those dominant programs, and they're hoping to keep that going here tonight with a potential date against a really good Edgar team next week. We're going to keep you up to date on that score as well, but there's a lot of pomp and circumstance around this Regis team.
Oh yeah, there definitely is, and as there should be. This team is pretty historic in the way that they've been able to have this great 16-year run of being able to have this kind of success. Brenner's done a really great job of coaching these guys, and you can just tell by the attitude and energy that they have out there. I mean, they were all hopping around before this and all just kind of getting everyone pumped up. They were all acting as if they were a huge community together, and that's how it should be as a football team. They have this program going in the right direction, and I expect more and more successes in the future for this Ramblers team.
Of course, this is part of the bracket for Regis that also includes the number 1 seed, Boyceville. They're taking on Clear Lake tonight. That game actually over on our sister station, Moose Country, so you can always get your iHeartRadio app going along with our video stream or the regular terrestrial radio and get a couple games going at once. And, of course, like we said, Edgar is the 2 seed in this bracket. They're taking on Glenwood City tonight, so a chance chance, certainly, whoever wins this game will go to Edgar next week, which is always a tough task as well in the Marrowood toward Wausau, and that could be a really big matchup as well. So a lot going on. We're certainly excited to bring it to you. We'll try to keep you up to date on all those games and scores from around the area as we can. There's some other teams going on and playing tonight as well. We know Menominee, Rice Lake, right, Chippewa, a bunch of teams, Hudson that are in action here tonight as well. Special thanks to the sponsors on the radio side, including Bjorkstrand Metal Roofing, for bringing you the pregame show here today. You are not only watching us on the Regis Rambler Sports Network, but you're listening to us on Classic Rock 92.1 FM, WMEQ, Menominee, Eau Claire, Chippewa Falls, Rock921.com, and iHeartRadio. Let's listen in to Joe Roach, a PA announcer, as we get set for the announcement and the playing of the national anthem.
Level 1 playoff game between the Elmwood Plum City Wolves from the Dun St. Croix Conference and from the Clover Belt Conference, your Eau Claire Regis Ramblers. We ask those who are able to please stand and remove your hats as we honor America now and those defending our freedom with our national anthem, performed by Regis students. And these are members of the Regis Choir: Bernie Falbo, Dominic Santine, Abram Gillette, Luke Usher, and choral director Mrs. Santine, with our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
The national anthem here from Carson Park as we get set for Regis versus Elmwood Plum City here tonight. Well, the officials for tonight's game will be James Cunningham getting the referee duties. It'll be Dylan Pronshinsky, the umpire. Mark Angel is the head line judge. The regular line judge is Andrew Crayenbull, and the back judge is Kurt Huseth here for the officiating crew today. The Wolves will be clad in the white uniforms with black numbers, black pants, and the silver helmets. You see them there, and we talked a little bit about the lineups here. It's brought to you by Wurzgala Plumbing and Heating. And tell you what, that Wolves team, like we said, they've got some skill players, Dan. We talked a little bit about Blake Allen, the senior running back. This guy who led the Dun St. Croix in rushing with 1,300 yards, 1,323 yards and 16 touchdowns on the season. You talked about Regis spreading it out, and that's great, right, because you can do some misdirection, that sort of thing. Regis is going to know who's getting the ball tonight. It's going to be a steady dose of Blake Allen. Aiden Bitzer is the quarterback, or Bertzer, excuse me, the son of the head coach Mike Bertzer, but still, we know that it's going to be a steady dose of Blake Allen here tonight.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, this guy literally has 7 yards per carry. That's just unheard of in this league here. But even then, you have to watch out for Burtson. He is just an absolute dual-threat quarterback. While he hasn't had much passing yards, only 123 touchdowns and interception on 57% completion percentage, he has 600 rushing yards, which is second on his team, 5.6 yards per carry, and 9 touchdowns. So he is no pushover. He will make you pay if you take lightly of him.
The Regis Ramblers introduced as a team. They're wearing the Kelly Green uniforms tonight with white pants, black numbers outlined in white, and the black helmets with the green Kelly Green Regis R on the side of those. Again, Owen Weisenberger will lead the way. You'll see Braden Albee as the tailback and then inverted double wing, and then you'll see a bevy of different wing backs. Chase Koska and Everett Tate will be two of those guys who factor in. You've talked a little bit about Ian Andrews. We saw Brendan Meyer come on late in the season. Austin Rideout's another one of those guys who did as well. One of the things that I'm a little bit not surprised about, but a guy we haven't seen suit up in about a month, a little over a month, is Alex Shula, one of their tight ends. He's really good on the defensive side of the ball, but boy, you wonder if Brian Brenner pulls out the bag of tricks early on here tonight and tries to get the ball to him through the air. We know Owen Weisenberger can throw it that way, and that might be something I feel like we might see early on here tonight.
Oh, yeah. I mean, considering how big of a target Alex Shula is, I mean, 6'5", 180 pounds, and just an absolute beast of a receiver back there at tight end. His stats don't jump off the page, but that's because he's missed some time. 4 receptions, but 145 yards off those 4 receptions, which is crazy to see. You expect that he's going to get a lot of work in today, as well as Alex Figge, too, who leads the team in 7 receptions and 137 yards and a team-high 3 touchdowns through the air.
Playoff football, level 1. We are ready to go here from Carson Park. It'll be Victor Placicia, who is ready to kick off here for the Wolves. And level 1, here we go. Downfield it goes over the far side. That one picked up by Tate over on that side. Pardon me, Andrews, rather. He's got a seam to the 30. He's up to the 40 and taken down near the 44-yard line as Ian Andrews gets the return for the Ramblers and gets the Ramblers good field position to start with 11:53 to go here in the first quarter.
And I gotta say, that's some good blocking already by this Ramblers team. They're looking like they're shot out of a cannon out there. I mean, just looking at some of the players that they have on their team right now, I already saw a big play from number 54, Colton Rockow, who absolutely pushed his guy all the way behind where the kicker was. And I mean, if you get pushed behind the kicker, you just have to give up on that play.
That's the weight room coming in. Now the Aces formation here as Weisenbeck throws near side. Tate with the catch across the 45 and taken down into Wolves territory to the 41-yard line. A big gain to start things off. 15 yards and a first down here for Regis on their first play.
And Everett Tate, while he's a pretty good rusher, he is also a very good receiving back. 7 receptions, 84 yards in the air this year, as well as 5 touchdowns, too.
A solid receiver he's been this season. Now the inverted double wing here for Regis. Koska right. And I believe Tate on the left wing. Albie is the tailback. Weisenberger will give it over on that left side. And a big run here near side. That's Andrews. He's going to go! 20-10-5! Touchdown Ramblers! And just like that, Regis is in for a score 2 plays into the game. 11:20 left to go first quarter. 41-yard touchdown run for Ian Andrews, his 8th of the season. 6-0 Ramblers.
And that is a way to stamp your name on this game right away. Great job by the blocking up front to not only get a little funnel going for Ian Andrews to run behind, but then to keep pushing and keep blocking downfield even when there was no one in front of them. They just went for the next guy up, and that's exactly what you need if you're going to be able to come away with a win today.
They'll go for 2 as they typically do on their first possession here, and sure enough, right into the end zone goes Everett Tate on the pitch in the inverted double wing. 8-0 Regis, 11:20 left to go first quarter. We'll be back right after this here on the Ramblers Sports Network. And welcome back in here to Carson Park. A 2-play, 56-yard drive that gets the Ramblers into the end zone. A pass, a run, a touchdown. And Dan, a great start here for Regis. We'll talk about it in a second. Let's get you the kickoff here for the Ramblers. They'll kick off going left to right. Elmwood Plum City needing a response after a tough defensive start to this game. This is going to go over the head of Allen, and he does scoop it up at the 10-yard line. Now up to the 20. He is hit and taken down at about the 23-yard line. Nice job in coverage, rather, there for the Ramblers. I believe that was Preston Olson who got the tackle, and it will be the 23-yard line is where the Wolves will take over, but what a first drive.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And also, great job by Blake Allen to actually be able to grab that. That was a turnaround catch to be able to receive that kick. But a great job by the Ramblers to completely just swarm up that entire kick return and just could not allow anything past that 25.
Aiden Burtzer in the shotgun here. He's got Allen to his left, one receiver out to the right. It's a direct snap to Allen. Allen running right, 25, cutting back at the 30 and tripped up near the 32-yard line. And the tackle made there by Harrison Haas, I do believe. One of the secondary guys, and that's a 8-yard gain, 2nd and 2.
And that's just what they're going to do all game long. They know for a fact that they're going to be running a lot of this game away, but you got to be careful because this team will throw too. They have some playmakers on the outside.
Every once in a while, you look at the numbers, 13.3 yards passing per game. They don't do it often. Here is the quarterback in Aiden Burtzer running left. He did not get it. Little keeper there. And again, they do that kind of, it's almost like a wishbone style setup back there. They can direct snap to Burtzer, they can direct snap to Allen, and then they just kind of run with it. He only gets 1 yard on that play, though.
Yeah, and especially being on that defensive line, you have to be able to be aware of who is getting that snap, if they're running, if they're passing, and especially in a wishbone offense kind of like this one, you have to really have your mind about yourself there. And that time, the Ramblers had a great job just calling it out and being aware of where it was going.
Direct snap to Allen running right. Boy, that's a powerful run for the first down across the 35 up to the 36-yard line. As he was stopped by Alex Burdick. 10:06 left to go first quarter. 8-0 Ramblers, and it's a first down here for the Wolves.
And so far, not really allowing any big runs from Blake Allen, who's had quite a few of those over against some of the other teams that they've faced off against. But right now, they're just doing a good job of just containing him, not allowing any big rushes to get outside.
Allen takes that snap running right. A helmet pops off somebody there. He gets across the 40 to about the 41-yard line before he is taken down by Lukas Kovacevic. And I think a broken helmet for Braden Albee. And he does have to come off for a play. And it's second and about 5 here for the Wolves.
Just started this game, and people are already hitting so hard that their helmets are breaking out here.
You could pull your best John Madden there, Dan, and say at least there's not a head in that helmet as it rolls out there. Right? Get your telestrator going here. It's second and about 5 for the Wolves. They need to get to the 46.5-yard line for a first down. Direct snap to Burtzer. He's going to try to run around the right edge. Got some decent space. Tripped up, I think, a yard short of the first down. Was close to the edge there. I believe Tate got him on that tackle. It'll be 3rd and 1 now here for the Wolves. In fact, not Tate out on the edge there. It was Noah Terrace who made that tackle. And 3rd and 1 here for the Wolves.
And the ends of the Ramblers cannot get washed down in those run plays. That's their whole game plan, is be able to wash the ends and make them unreliable in this. You need to contain and make sure that Burtzer, who is a good runner around the edge there, just cannot get outside.
One receiver out to the left, direct snap to Allen. He's got the lead blocks, and he just runs over defenders across the 50 up to the 45-yard line, and that's that weight room again. Haas gets the tackle, but he just kind of had to drag him down after a big gain out to the Regis 46-yard line, and they move the chains again, and boy, it really is kind of 3, 4, 5 yards in a cloud of dust, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And, I mean, Blake Allen, he just does that to you. He's a very quick runner. However, he will lower his shoulder, and he'll carry some bodies with. It reminds me a little bit of that Cam Olsen in Eau Claire North, too, who we had the pleasure of watching all season as well.
Yeah, powerful running back, certainly. Allen again around left edge. He's tackled at about the 40 and falls forward to the 36-yard line. Chase Koska filling it up this time. But that's another 7-yard gain to the 39-yard line. Sets up second and very short. And as you have said, I believe earlier, staying ahead of schedule here are the Wolves.
Oh, yes, they are. And this is going to be the way that they run down this Ramblers defense, is by having these long, prolonged drives here. And so far, they've been just taking time off the clock, trying to win that possession game, trying to tire out that Ramblers defense. And so far, I mean, that's what they've been doing.
So many of these guys play both sides of the ball. You wonder how that'll affect the offensive side of the ball when Regis gets back out there. Allen trying to bounce it. He does to the 35, hits a tackler at the 30, and then is taken down near the 27-yard line. That's at least a 12-yard gain, maybe 11 when they finally mark it off. But a first down there for the Wolves up to the 27 with 7:25 left to go first quarter. Regis 8 and Elmwood Plum City nothing, but they are driving.
And those direct snaps are so hard to stop as a defensive lineman. You have to really be aware of where that run is going, because half the time it's either to Burtzer or it's going to be to Blake Allen, and half the time it's from one side or another, and you have to understand where that is and where your angle is. And right now the Ramblers need to take a little bit better angles to be able to clog up those holes and cause a little bit more stoppage.
And this will be the direct snap to Allen running right. Gets hit near the line, and this one a little bit better job here by Regis. They get him down at the 22 2-yard line after about a 5-yard, still a 5-yard gain, but they hit him closer to the line this time, and we'll see if they can maybe push him back a little bit. Rocco, the man on the stop.
And Rocco's been doing that a lot this season, too. Just some great tackling out there. While they haven't been able to really close down and stop some gaps, they've been making great form tackles, getting low as possible, and just ripping them down. And at some point, that will come to be an effective way to stop them.
Again, this is going to be Bertzer trying to run left around the edge. Now cuts it at the 20. Looks like he's got the first down. He reached the ball out at the 16-yard line when he was taken down by Kovacevic. He gets the first down, but I don't think he really needed to reach the ball out there. And that's risking a fumble, which, it feels like if we get any turnover in this game, that's going to be massive the way these two teams are moving the ball right now.
Oh, yeah, we could potentially see a 40-40 game here. Who knows? This could go into overtime. But this team right here, you absolutely cannot turn over the ball because they will make you pay. The team that turns over the ball first might be the team to lose it out there.
Yeah, I think you certainly could be right, just the way these first two drives have looked. They are going to fake a reverse, and there's a great job in the backfield by the Ramblers to get there. Tate, along with Kovacevic, were in the backfield on the keeper for Bertzer. Faked a reverse on the end around. That's a loss of one back to the 16-yard line to bring up 2nd and 11.
And that was just great awareness there by Everett Tate. 41 total tackles this season and a sack. He's not afraid to get into the backfield. He read that thing like a book and was able to bring Bertzer down, and that's exactly what you needed as a Rambler there. You needed to see them get one solid stop behind the line of scrimmage, and now you can push on from that and hopefully can close down more of the gaps.
Once again, Allen and Bertzer will look to take the snap. Allen right, he's counters to the left. Now at the 10, he's still at 5. He's dragging tacklers down inside the 5-yard line to about the 3, it looks like, where they'll mark him. And that's about a 13-yard gain. It's 1st and goal now for the Wolves as they are knocking on the door.
And Blake Allen is just so hard to stop out there when he gets into the open field. He's just willing to drag anyone along with him who wants to take a ride. Not even needing a fee, not a ticket either.
Yeah, we talked about, again, the leading rusher in the Dun St. Croix coming in, even though this is a team that finished 3rd in the league. As Allen runs right, he gets hit in the backfield, reaches out. He's still on his feet, and he gets into the end zone. You don't see that often from the Ramblers where they kind of quit on the play. I think they thought that ball was going to be blown dead for the backward progress, basically, or being pushed backwards, but the refs never blew it dead. He kept the feet churning, bounces around the edge, and it's now 8-6. Ramblers lead it.
Yeah, and that was just a great job by Blake Allen to recognize that the play is not over until someone blows a whistle, and that's exactly what he did. He spun off of a tackle where it really looked like the Ramblers were just kind of reaching and hoping that, all right, maybe the play is dead at this point. But no, Blake Allen with that awareness rips right around and just trots right in for a touchdown.
Allen again around the right edge, following blockers in for the 2. This team has not tried an extra point all season long. They're going for 2 every time, and they get it this time as well. We're tied at 8 with 4:43 left to go first quarter. We'll be back right after this on the Ramblers Sports Network. Welcome back in here to Carson Park. You are watching us on the Rambler Sports Network or listening to us on Classic Rock 92.1. We're happy to have you along with us. Level 1 of the Division 7 playoffs, 3 versus 6 matchup in the upper left of the bracket. It's Regis versus Elmwood Plum City. We are tied at 8 here with 4:43 left to go first quarter. Boy, a tale of 2 different drives. Big hits for the Ramblers, which we know they can do. For Elmwood Plum City, that was a 10-play, 77-yard drive. Took 6 minutes and 32 seconds as this kick is going to angle out of bounds at the 27-yard line. Regis will be set up with good field position here as they were on their first drive. But it really was kind of a tale of 2 different drives, wasn't it, Dan?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And for Plum City, that's exactly what, or Elmwood Plum City Wolves, that's exactly what you wanted. You wanted a long, prolonged drive to try and tire out this defense, who most of the players on their defense also play on offense too, and hopefully trying to tire out that offense before they can really get a snap off here.
Kicking team going to re-kick.
So this is interesting now. Ryan Brenner wanting a return here. Like he got a good return on the first kickoff. So instead of taking the ball at the 35, he's going to elect to re-kick. I'm not terribly shocked by this. I think he wants the ball in those guys' hands and let them make something happen here. So we'll get a re-kick from Victor Placencia as he gets set to kick it off. Edgar up early 8-0 on Glenwood City with about 4.5 minutes left to go in the first quarter there as well. Again, the winner of this game plays the winner of that game. This is a little line drive squibber that'll be taken by Andrews rather on that far side. He's got a lane to the 45, one move to make. He stiff arms a defender to the 40. There's a flag on the play back at the 40-yard line. For the moment, Andrews is in, but I think this one's coming back at the 45-yard line.
A penalty flag on the play.
And such a shame, too. That was a beautifully blocked play.
Here comes the call.
Holding, receiving team.
Well, you don't get numbers with our officiating crew, but it was a holding call there. Andrews, you saw him kind of bounce up on the line and then kind of go out, so I'm sure it was somebody right around where he kind of had to stop for a minute there and find a hole, somebody holding there. We didn't quite see exactly who on that, but they'll back him up, and Regis is going to start at about the 34-yard line or so when all is said and done.
Well, it was a great idea by Brenner, though. He absolutely called it. He wanted his playmakers out there to have a chance at that kick return, and if it wasn't for that penalty, maybe a hook in the backfield there, it could have been a touchdown and would have been an absolutely perfect call. And so far, we've seen some really great plays from these skill positions of the Ramblers.
So we're tied at 8 here from Carson Park with 4:27 left to go first quarter. And the winner of this game plays the winner of the Edgar-Glenwood City game. Edgar leading 8-0 right now with 4 minutes left to go in the first quarter. They're playing at home against Glenwood City today. A late substitution. One of the Semlings out there. That's Landon Semling getting onto the line. Weisenberger goes under center, inverted double wing here for Regis. Pitch goes to Koska, right to left, cuts it up the gut to the 40, and he is hit down near the first down marker. Looks like he's got the first down there, as he was hit in by one of the safeties there in Sean Sagini. And it is a first down to the 44, so a 10-yard gain on first down, and there's that big chunk play for the Ramblers.
And it just showing why there's such a great rushing team. I mean, you can toss it to anyone back there, and with the blocking that these Ramblers have been showing so far, you can pretty much get 5-10 yards on a per carry.
Koska gets the pitch again, right to left from that right wing area. He's got a couple, but not many. Pushed backward there by the Wolves. He gets to the 46-yard line, 2-yard gain on the play. Up the gut, looked like Mason Clare might have been in on the tackle there, along with Brett Lifto. Brett Kopp's another one to watch, number 79 on the defensive side. He's 6'3", 310, and you see him right there in the middle of your screen. He's just a sophomore, Dan. Can you imagine being 3'10" and 6'3" when you were, 15, 16 years old? That's crazy.
That is insane, and this guy's going to be good for a long time.
Yeah, Weisenberger pitches here to Andrews, moving left to right, looking for a hole up the gut. Look at him just pulling the pile along with him into plus territory. He is close. And I think the officials are going to mark him about a half a yard short of the first down marker. So about a 7.5-yard gain on that play, and now it's 3rd and inches.
And almost every run you see from this Ramblers team, it's almost like there's an entire just green wave just pushing an entire pile of people forward. It's so fun to see.
Well, Mike Sullivan used to refer to it as mean green. He called it student body right, student body left, whatever you want to call it. Inverted double wing again, pitch to the left wing. Regis has the first down and much, much more across the 40 up to the 39-yard line. It's about a 7-yard gain for Everett Tate on the play, and the Ramblers move the chains. You're liking the inverted double wing, see?
I used to not like it very much playing against it, against especially Spring Valley,
You're right.
who played that a lot. But man, is it just fun to watch, though. It's just almost anywhere you go, you could have a playmaker just almost running wild and then have an entire blocking trio just going forward, taking out everyone in sight for chunk yardage.
Here's Tate on the pitch from the left wing, spins off a tackle at the 35, cuts it beautifully, and gets up near the 30-yard line, and he is close to the first down marker again. That is a 10-yard gain and a first down, and Everett Tate breaking some tackles back there beautifully. Well done.
Yeah, and Everett Tate is just an absolute unit out there. 6'2", 187-pound junior. He still has a whole season left to go, and he is really showing why he wants to continue on in this playoffs. This team is looking like a well-oiled machine out there so far.
8-8 our score, Regis and Elmwood Plum City here in level 1. Clock stopped for some reason, not really sure why, with 2:26 left. Here's Andrews, student body right, looking for a cut, and he doesn't have much out there. He makes something out of nothing, though, and gets taken down at about the 27-yard line, and a little slow on that play was Parker Beekle. He kind of twisted his knee a bit as he was tackling him there. See him limp back to the defensive formation. Hopefully he's all right.
Yeah, I definitely hate to see any kind of injuries here, and it looks like he's going to go down, and he is upset about it. He wants to keep playing.
Yeah, well, he went down, and then now he pounding his fist like he doesn't want to be down, but, I mean, you can understand the frustration. This is, not only are you getting to play in a playoff game, but you get to go on the road, and for Elmwood Plum City, you're playing at a college field, as Coach Bertzer talked about. You get to play kind of under the lights in this situation, and, you want to be out there as long as possible, and I'm sure for Parker Beekle, he's pretty upset about that situation right now. So there's an injury down on the field here. 2:01 left to play first quarter. We're tied at 8. Regis has a 2nd and 7 coming up from the Elmwood Plum City 27-yard line. Like we said, Edgar leading 8-0 over Glenwood City at last check. We'll try to get you an update on that Boyceville-Clear Lake game as well. It's on the other side of the bracket, but could be a potential matchup for one of these two teams if they make it to level 3 of the playoffs. And again, that Boyceville team very solid. And again, you can catch that game on the radio side over on Moose Country 106.7 as well. So they're going to take a look here at Parker Beekle and see if he's all right. We talk about this Regis team and, again, the success that they've had. This Elmwood Plum City team, like I said, since they merged as a school, they've never won a playoff game. But if you go back a ways to the Plum City days, back before they had merged with Elmwood, they had some success. In fact, they got all the way to level 4 back in 2010, lost to Catholic Central in the Division 7 level 4 matchup there, 14-0. So Plumwood City's had some success over the years. They're 11-8 over that time. Elmwood, when they were on their own, had 15 playoff appearances. The deepest they got was back in 1996. They got to level 3. But since these two teams have merged and merged into the Wolves, they've been a good force. I know you saw them quite a bit when you were playing at Colfax. This is a community that really prides itself on their sports or athletics and being able to represent it.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And these guys go out there with a full 100% of their heart. They want to go out there and play. And as you saw with Peter Beechel, he absolutely did not want to get off this field because these guys love this sport so much and they want to put 100% of themselves out there, and especially in the playoffs where your team could potentially go on to another game and have another chance at a longer season.
All right, so here we go again, and now there's a false start by Regis. This is Chase Koski. You didn't see that many of these mistakes late in the season. Let's hear the call.
Dead ball. False start. Offense.
So it is on Chase Koska on the right wing on that inverted double wing. So that backs Regis up to a 2nd and 12 now from the Plum City Elmwood 32. Elmwood Plum City, excuse me. I'll probably cycle through that a few times tonight. We're under 2 minutes left to go here in the first quarter, tied at 8. And Regis will send Austin Wright out as one of their wingbacks on the right side. They'll give it, in fact, to the tailback, Albie, right up the gut, 25-20. He turns on the Jets. Touchdown, Ramblers. 32 yards on the scamper for the tailback. Braden Albie on the delay, and that's where you can get into some trouble. They kind of overcommitted to the wingbacks there, and Albie takes off for the 32-yard score.
And Albie, just another one of those guys on that rushing attack. Just a great job by him to pick the right hole and just absolutely take off. He's a 6 foot, 210-pound senior, and he can move like he's almost 150 pounds. He is quick.
Jack Schroeder will attempt the extra point. 2 kickers on this Rambler team. Schroeder's kick is up and good. Interesting with the Wolves. We know they're going to go for 2 if they score again, so we'll see how that all works out later on. But the kick is good. 15-8. Regis with the lead. 1:33 left first quarter. We'll be back right after this on the Rambler Sports Network. And welcome back in once again here to Carson Park. Eau Claire Regis versus the Elmwood Plum City Wolves here in level 1 of the high school playoffs. B. Knutson, Dan Zons with you. Special thanks to Zane Cullinan on our video stream here on the Regis Rambler Sports Network, and to Dan Price, our producer, back on the radio side here on Classic Rock 92.1. We have not seen a whole lot of defense yet in this game. It's a 15-8 Regis lead. 32-yard touchdown run for Braden Albee as this one's kicked over to the far sideline, and that is batted down by Allen. Scoops it up, 15-17, dragging tacklers to the 19. And a really nice kick there by Regis. Good angle kick there for Pablo Gonzalez getting the duties tonight. And that was about as well coffin cornered of a kickoff as you can get to send Albee into some trouble. And they've had two kind of tough returns here already in this game.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And just to be able to make something out of nothing there, it looked like he was going to lose even more yards at that point, but still just not ideal. However, they were able to rush almost the entire length of the field last time as well. So you want to see how this Ramblers defense is going to adjust to this Wolves offense, who kind of ran a lot all over them.
Now let's see again. They've got the two men back there. Allen gets the snap, running right. Regis has it all stacked up on that right side. Koska. Now Regis is saying they got the ball, that he wasn't down. Everybody pointing. Was he on top of a body? I wonder if that's the question. I think the officials are marking him down. But boy, that's one of those where if you're playing on Saturdays or Sundays, they might be going to the replay review on that.
Oh, yeah, and that's the hard thing about high school sports. You can't replay that, and if you're a ref and you didn't see it right away, you can't call that a fumble if it's not like clear and evidential proof.
Right.
But still, a good job by the Ramblers to still be aware of, like, oh, hey, the football's out. Look at that.
Had all 11 green jerseys pointing the other way, saying it was our ball. Here's a bobbled snap by Allen. He goes back and gets it at the 11, and he will get up maybe near the 15. Good job by the Ramblers to get into the backfield there and wrap him up before he could get anything going forward. Alex Burdick on the tackle. And others there as well. And so now it is 3rd and about 14 here for Plum City Elmwood. And I believe they're at a situation where they don't have to run another play here before the end of the quarter. And they're going to let the clock tick down and take a look at things. I mean, we got a beautiful night. It's in the low to mid 50s. There is no wind to speak of, no weather to speak of. This is an absolutely perfect late October evening. And sure enough, they will be able to take it to the end of the quarter mark. So at the end of one, it's the Regis Ramblers 15, the Elmwood Plum City Wolves 8 here in level 1 of the Division 7 playoffs. We'll take a break. Second quarter coming up right after this here on the Ramblers Sports Network. Once again here to Carson Park, and as the Ramblers had a great second drive to get in for a 15-8 lead here over Elmwood Plum City in level 1. 12 minutes left to go second quarter. Elmwood Plum City going backwards here, and boy, like you said, Dan, the way we've seen this go so far, 3 drives all with touchdowns. I know there's been a little bit of faux pas here for the Wolves on this drive, but it feels like even just losing some yards and maybe not converting early in this game feels like it's going to be big, the way both teams have moved the ball again in that first quarter.
Oh, yeah, and especially any kind of small mistakes, too. I mean, they went backwards a little bit to start, but then they also coughed up the football a little bit ago and just had to land on it and try to make do whatever they can. You cannot make a mistake against this Rambler team and expect to be able to walk off from that, because this Regis team, they'll run back on you, and they will do exactly what they did on the last drive. So if you're the Wolves here, you need to pick up this third down.
Burtzer and Allen, again, back is that kind of wishbone formation. Burtzer going to take it here, right up the gut, looking for the run. He doesn't have much. Across the 15 to maybe the 18, about a 3-yard gain, and it's going to bring up 4th and about 11 here for Elmwood Plum City, and I just can't imagine that you can go for it this deep in your own territory this early in the game. They're going to have to bring the punt unit out. I'd imagine there's just no way, unless we've got an injury, so they're going to have some time to to think about it and to talk about it here. That is Brett Lifto, who is down. And so Lifto sometimes factors in on the offensive line as a tight end and those kind of things, is down. And so some injuries here early on for this Elmwood Plum City team. That can be obviously pretty, not only are you down here, you're against a higher seed, you're on the road. This is a tough drive. Now you've had, 2 guys get hurt here. And so for Elmwood Plum City, they've had some good moments. I wouldn't say it's the worst start that they could have, but now all of a sudden things starting to stack up against them a little bit.
Yeah, and it's going to be about how you bounce back from this. Can this defense stifle this Ramblers offense that's been almost like a hot knife through butter to start off this game, especially on the rushing attack? I mean, they've had a couple of passing plays, but they really haven't had to pass.
Yeah.
They've been able to really do whatever they want on that rushing attack, and it's going to be about what the Wolves are able to do to adjust and kind of tighten up around those edges, because, man, if they're going to have to punt here. If they try to go for it and turn it over here, this is just going to be an easier walk away for the Ramblers to just get right in and put this game away early.
And you get it, right? You don't obviously want to give the ball back to Regis in any case, but I just don't know if there's a way around this. Dylan Zellinger had been the guy who had punted for most of the season for the Wolves, and he's the one who's back. Averages about 30 yards a punt. So, again, this ball back inside the 20. They have to go that route, and Zellinger will be the man to punt. Regis will get Harrison Haas back to return, standing out about at his own 46-yard line. It is Zellinger who takes the punt, and a decent spiraler here. It will roll out of bounds. Haas didn't get a great read on that. Ends up working out pretty well here. Regis' 44-yard line is where they will start out, so not a terribly bad kick there of about 38 yards, and that will put Regis at their own 44.
Yeah, and that's just not ideal if you're the Ramblers. I mean, you get great field position. However, you had a chance to really take something and run with it there. But regardless, the way that this offense looked, I don't know if they're going to really need that perfect field position.
It might be one of those where you just don't take the risk, right? You just kind of go and deal with what you can deal with, I suppose. All right, so here we go. It is the Ramblers back out trying to make it a 2-score game, 15-8. Regis with the lead here on Elmwood Plum City, and they will give it on the reverse. This is Tate right up the gut across the 50 to the 48-yard line. There's the old hand it off to the right wing, Koska, give it to the left wing, Tate on the reverse. And he gets about a 7-yard gain on first down.
And that's just great blocking, as well as a great play design there to just funnel that defensive line and just completely just clear that Red Sea. Just a great job by the blockers to keep pushing up ahead and continue on with their blocks. You don't see that very often. You see a lot of high schoolers usually just kind of quit on their blocks once they got their guy past them. But they just keep going.
Inverted double wing again. The handoff to Koska, right to left to the 45 of Elmwood Plum City. And he has a 4-yard gain. That's enough for a first down as they move the chains. 10:42 left to go second quarter. It is Regis 15, Elmwood Plum City 8. Hey, we want to give a special shout-out to somebody who's watching us from Vienna, Austria tonight. Our old friend Lori Zakaitis, a retired English teacher at Eau Claire Regis. Former Eau Claire Express host mom as well, and liaison to the Stars. She is watching us from Vienna, Austria. So we got listeners and viewers everywhere. Here's a pitch from the right wing on the inverted double wing to Meyer, who will get it out to the 41-yard line for a gain of 4 yards. So you're international tonight, Dan. We're international here this evening.
Good to hear. Good to hear. I wish I could speak any kind of Austrian so I could make it a little bit better for our Austrian listener out there.
I think it'll be better if you don't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Second and 6 here from the Elmwood Plum City 41-yard line. Weisenberger pitches to Andrews. Andrews following student body to the right. He gets wrapped up for a moment, then gets away from the tackle from Lifto, who was injured a few plays ago. Gets to the 39-yard line before he is finally stopped on the play by Logan Out. And it will be a 3rd and 4 now here for Regis. This is probably the closest that Elmwood Plum City has come to getting a stop here, or at least the longest 3rd down attempt that Regis is going to have had.
And this is going to be a very crucial down for them to just see if their defense is able to really contain and close down this offense of the Ramblers.
They need the 35 for a first down. They will give it on the tailback delay to Albie, and he does not have it. 1 yard on the play, not much more. Lifto again on the stop, and it'll be 4th and 3. And this is not close enough by any means to kick, and I don't think this is far enough away to punt, and this is likely going to be 4-down territory for Regis.
No, and Brenner trusts his skill guys out there enough to go out and get an extra 3 yards, and also he's just got a lot of great plays drawn up just for these kind of situations as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what he comes up with for this 4th-down attempt.
Here it is, 4th and 3. They will reverse it to Andrews, trying to go right edge. He makes a move, and he's going to get the first down. Far sideline, there he goes. 1 man to beat, and then he's taken out of bounds at the 15-yard line. And I'll tell you what, Riley Beckel is absolutely beside himself. He had a chance to wrap him up for a loss, and Ian Andrews juked him out of his shoes to get inside the 20.
And that's the hard thing about trying to take down a guy like Ian Andrews too. He's going to make you miss in space, and you have to be aware that he's going to try and do that. But obviously Riley Beachel just could not get there in time and just was not really following the right steps to be able to make that perfect tackle, and just allowed Ian Andrews to just slip right by him for another first down for the Ramblers.
To the 15 they go, 8:42 left to go here in the second quarter rather. They pitch it from right to left, and a good job containing it here by the Wolves, as Tate had absolutely nothing doing. Mason Clare on the stop, as he gets up to maybe a yard to the 13-yard line. And there it is, so a stop there. That Andrews move, though, on 4th down. I mean, if Regis scores on this drive, if they go on to win this game, I think that's one to put in the memory banks. He hit the the L1, L2 button to make that juke, and off he went.
Oh, yeah, and he just absolutely, he just took the top off the defense, too. That's going to be one of those highlight plays. They might put that on ESPN. Who knows?
Andrews running right. Now Weisenberger back to pass, looking back corner of the end zone. Instead, throws the under route to Albee, who catches it inside the 5 and is taken down near the 3-yard line. Stopped on the play by Riley Beckel, but not before. He gets inside the 3 on a 10-yard gain, a first down, 1st and goal here for the Ramblers.
And Albee, too. Albee's not very much of a receiver out there. He's more of a kind of ground and pound type of running back, 6'2", senior. But he can catch. He can catch, and he just showed it on that play, too, and just absolutely turned it upfield. And that was a great job running out there, and great awareness by Weisenberger to make that short pass.
Weisenberger will pitch it to the right wing back. That's Koska kind of crawling over some defenders, and then is hit after maybe a yard on the play. Logan Out was the man who was the one who pulled him back. Rideout was in there as well, but instead that was, I do believe, despite what they said, that was the pitch. Oh, it was to Rideout, rather. And there is an injured player, and another Wolf is down here for Elmwood Plum City. Yeah, Rideout did get the pitch there and gets maybe a yard. And so 2nd and goal from about the 2.5, 3-yard line is the situation here.
Yeah, and that's Jack Steinmeier down right now. He's got 48 total tackles, 5 tackles for loss and a sack. He's been pretty active out there on the defensive linebacker position. Just, you hate to see another one of these Wolves go down. That's 3. Even though we had Brett Lifto back in the game, thankfully.
Yeah, and I'd have
to see it.
I'd have to go back through their game list, and I guess I hadn't thought about this before, but my assumption is this is probably the first time they played on field turf all year. You wonder if that, just the way you plant, the way you run, maybe a little bit different than some of those natural grass fields that you're used to playing in the Dun St. Croix as well. So I'm sure that could potentially, maybe a little bit of unsureness, right? You might be wearing different cleats, different types of shoes, those kind of things, and all of a sudden you're not cutting the same way that you are on your home turf. That might have something to do with it tonight. So an injury there. It is 15-8. Ramblers with the lead here on the Wolves. 7:28 left to go in the second quarter. We can tell you that Edgar is leading Glenwood City 8-0 with about just under 6 minutes left to go in the second quarter, but I do believe Glenwood City has the ball into Edgar territory inside the 25-yard line. So they are on the march there, are the Hilltoppers, trying to figure out a way to score there against an Edgar squad. And again, that's the 2 seed there, so you're assuming Edgar's going to have a good chance to get in, but who knows? You got some other scores there, Dan, as well from around the area?
I do, and maybe a surprise to most, Chippewa Falls up 14-7 on Hudson, and Chippewa has the ball right now, too. They've been playing some stellar defense on that Hudson offense. And then we also have Boyceville up right now. They're up 22-0 on Clear Lake in the second quarter right now. So one surprise, an upset, and a really good game going on. Edgar versus Glenwood.
Yeah, that would be massive if Chippewa pulled off that upset on Hudson. Do remember that tonight over on our friends over on Newstalk WMEQ, that's AM 880 in the Menominee area and 106.3 FM in Eau Claire. From 9:30 to 11 o'clock tonight, you can hear Football Friday Night. That's a statewide postgame show that comes to you live from Milwaukee, and they'll recap all the scores from level 1. So make sure you tune into that there or on the iHeartRadio app over on News Talk WMEQ. All right, Weisenberger back under center, 2nd and goal from about the 2.5-yard line. Albee with the carry up the gut. He does not have it. And this looks like it's about a yard short of the line to gain. He just the straight-up dive forward. No delay, nothing there. It was just Albee power, and he is taken down quickly, and it's 3rd and goal, and Regis having a hard time getting the push into the end zone.
Yeah, and the Wolves have surprisingly tightened up here, especially towards the end, only allowing a couple big runs that have saved this Ramblers offense a few times to continue the drive going on. If Elmwood Plum City wants to get back into this game, it stops right here.
Everett Tate right wing. It's Andrews left wing. Albee the tailback. It's a pitch to Andrews. Andrews following blockers. Jumps over a defender, and he's into the end zone with 6:43 left to play in the second quarter. It's an Ian Andrews 1-yard touchdown run. That is his 2nd touchdown of the game, his 9th of the season, and it's the Ramblers who lead 21-8.
And Ian Andrews is just so athletic out there that he can really make up something out of nothing. And especially with all those bodies down on the ground, it looked like there wasn't really much for Ian Andrews to go, but he was able to just hop right over the top and get in for a touchdown. That's exactly what you want out of your running backs.
Schroeder on to kick the extra point. The kick is up, and the kick is good. 22-8, Regis with the lead. 6:43 left, second quarter. We'll be back right after this here on the Ramblers Sports Network. Welcome back in once again here to Carson Park. The Eau Claire Regis Ramblers with another drive of 9 plays, 56 yards, and they get into the end zone to make it 22-8 here over Elmwood Plum City. First drive of the second quarter, and they have not had a drive that hasn't ended up in a touchdown yet this game. And they continue to move that offense well here against Elmwood Plum City. So Elmwood Plum City looking for a response. Their last drive went backwards, a couple of mistakes, one a fumble on a snap, and a couple other issues that they had. So it'll be Gonzalez to kick this one off. It's going to roll kind of awkwardly over toward the far sideline. Allen picks it up at the numbers there at the 20, takes it across the 25, gets hit pretty hard near the 28, 29-yard line. Koska on the stop, and he'll get to the 29-yard line officially to start. Not to say that this game, hinges on this drive, but if Elmwood Plum City doesn't get a touchdown on this drive, Regis has a chance to go up maybe 3 scores before the end of the half, and that seems like that would be pretty devastating at this point in the game.
Yeah, things could get really messy, especially how EPC was able to really get out early on and just keep up with the Ramblers. I mean, they tied this thing 8-8 so fast, but then a couple of injuries, a couple of miscues on their next offensive drive, and they just haven't looked the same since that first one.
So here they go with the Allen carry on the right side. Got a decent hold of the 30, cuts it back up middle of the field across the 35, up near the 37, maybe the 38-yard line, before he's finally taken down. Andrews in on the stop. And he'll get about 8 on that first down carry, so make it second and short.
And that's exactly what you need if you're the Wolves right now. You need some long and consistent drives going on, and that was a big run there for them, and you know that they want to get some kind of momentum going here. But if you're the Ramblers, you got to make sure to close it and put a foot down on the throat and just make sure that nothing is getting past them. Make sure to close down, contain well, and not allow those big runs to happen.
Yeah, again, they rattle off those 5 to 10 yard runs on that first drive pretty easily, but the last drive was a little bit different. They get a little early motion here. Bertzer with a fake handoff. He is hit in the backfield and then suplexed backwards back at the 36-yard line. The tackle there by Braden Albee, And he'll get, I'd say, progress for about a 1, maybe a 2-yard loss. Back to the 36, brings up third and about 3.
And these running backs, I mean, they're doubling as some great defenders, too, some dual threats, really. I mean, we already talked about Everett Tate, who made a big play in the backfield earlier. Now Braden Alby's coming up there, and he's making some big plays and stopping them. Just some great stuff. And Braden Alby, 5 sacks on this season. You know he's going to be in there trying to make a play.
All right, so once again, Allen going to take the snap here, direct, running left, hitting the line. He gets past it for a first down across the 40 up to about the 42-yard line before he is taken down by a host of Ramblers. Landon Semling in on the stop. Haas there as well. Terrace was close, and it's a first down on a 5-yard gain here for Elmwood Plum City. 5 minutes left to go, second quarter. Regis 22, Wolves 8.
And they're trying to slow the bleeding right now. And so far, they're kind of doing pretty well despite that first starting run. But if they allow only 1, maybe 2 yards a play, they can really force them to punt again and potentially go down the field and go up 3 touchdowns.
Oh, back to pass. Here goes Allen. Chucks it downfield. It is up and tipped incomplete. What a job downfield as Regis gets a hand on it. Noah Terrace got a hand up there. For a moment, I thought he had a chance to intercept that ball. It kind of flew on Albie a bit. He only was able to get a hand on it, but he breaks it up intended for Sean Sagini, and it's 2nd and 10.
Great awareness downfield. He didn't overplay the ball, and he wasn't going for the tackle on that one. Great job to just get a hand up, even though it may have gotten, it looked a little bit lost in the lights there. He looked like he closed his eyes for a second and kind of put the Odell hand up trying to knock it away. Great job by him and great awareness to keep the ball up in front of him.
Well,
good stuff.
For Allen as well, if he doesn't put so much air under that as he runs to the right side for a couple of yards to the 45-yard line, just kind of tripped up himself, and he looks like he's down here as well. Let's see if he gets up. A little slow getting up here. What a 2-yard gain, 3rd and 8. But for me on that pass play, couple downs ago for Allen, he doesn't put that air under it. I think he gets that ball there. It's the fact that he floated that in that gave some time for Terrace to get up there and catch up to him.
And that's the issues with trick plays like that too, because Blake Allen's not their primary quarterback. He's their halfback, as is listed. He will throw the ball from time to time and try and catch the offense or catch the defense off guard. But he's a running back at the end of the day.
Now Burtzer trying to run left, and he's wrapped up in the backfield for a big loss. What a tackle there by Braden Albee, who has come to play tonight. A 4-yard loss back to the 41-yard line, and that's going to bring up 4th and 11, and again, another punt situation here for the Wolves.
And you wonder if that match score by the Wolves starting off this game kind of lit a fire underneath them to continue on and really put the pressure on this Wolves team, because, man, this looks like a completely different defense than we saw in that first drive.
And this is a Regis team. I mean, this is a pride. What I've thought watching them this season is the offense is good, but the defense seems to me to be one of the big things that they hang their hat on. I mean, 88 yards per game is what they give up on the ground. So that first drive just didn't compute for you. Those last 2 certainly have been much more Regis-like. As they are back to punt here, Regis looks like they want to get a block, and now they will retreat back and allow a return coming. It'll be returned from the 32-yard line, and there's a chance on that far side for Haas to return this one. He is horse-collared from behind at about the 44, maybe the 43-yard line. Well, they'll mark him to about a 10-yard return on the play. And Regis, again, good field position, 2:55 left second quarter. Regis 22, Elmwood Plum City 8.
And that was just a great job by the return team, not really letting anything up there, but the Ramblers now have a chance to really put this game away, really put their final stamp on it if there's not going to be a comeback. But just the way the Ramblers have run this game has just been insane. They've been getting almost 5-7 yards each and every drive. Just a beautiful job by the blocking and a beautiful scheme to really take this Elmwood Plum City team off guard.
Handoff goes to Koska in the Aces formation. He gets into plus territory to the 49-yard line. Maybe the 48 where they finally marked. About a 9-yard gain. They went the Aces formation there, and they gave it to the tailback. A lot of times I think teams expect Regis to throw there. Now look at this. They come right up to the line. They want to run a quick play. 2:36, 2:35 left to play in the quarter. Aces again. One receiver right, one left. Another handoff to Koska up the gut. He's got the first down to the 45. About a 3, maybe a 4-yard gain as they'll get him to the 44-yard line officially. And now a whistle and a stoppage here to move the chains. As Off and Claire were in to make the stop. 1st and 10 here for Regis.
And they know they're a running team right now. So they want to allow as much time as possible to get down that field to score another one. They're going for a touchdown, and you can tell just by the way they've been playing this and by the way that they've been coming out with that intensity.
One receiver right, one left. Once again here for Weisenberger. Takes the snap, back to pass. Looks over the middle. Throws, it's caught. It's bobbled and incomplete. Should have been caught, and it was incomplete. Downfield they went trying to find George Wolterstorff, and it's incomplete. That'll bring up 2nd and 10, and it should have been a big gain over the seam getting close to the 20.
Yeah, and that almost could have probably gone for a touchdown had he gotten past the safety there, too. You know, he's going to be thinking about that for the rest of this game, but man, they called that perfectly. The entire Elmwood Plum City defense had thought that was a run, and not a single person was really ready for a pass in that secondary.
Tate right and Andrews left. They will swing it out of the backfield in that aces formation. Koska makes a catch 40, 35, and he's double tackled near about the 33-yard line by Sagini and Outh as well, but not before he gets the first down up to the 33-yard line on an 11-yard gain.
And after just pressuring that defensive line by running down their throats every single time, this spread is catching the Wolves off guard here on defense.
Now we're going to go to whistle, and we have a timeout taken by Elmwood Plum City here with 1:48 left to go in the second quarter. That'll give us a chance to take a timeout as well. We'll take a quick break, come back right after this here on the Ramblers Sports Network.
Wolves' first charge timeout.
Welcome back in once again here to Carson Park. Eau Claire Regis leading 22-8 over the Elmwood Plum City Wolves. 1:48 left to go second quarter. 1st and 10 for Regis at the Elmwood Plum City 33. Back to pass goes Weisenberger. Pressure coming. He steps up. He's going to run with this. Goes left to the 30. Now going to run out of bounds at about the 27-yard line or so. Let's see where they mark him officially. 26 is where they'll put him to. About a about a 7-yard gain. So we're going to bring up second and about third here for Regis, and that stops the clock as well.
And just a great job by Regis to continue on doing their thing, doing their bread and butter, which is they've been able to catch guys off guard with the spread, but they know that offensive running is just going to be consistent for them.
Weisenberger with a keeper running left, pulling a tackler to the 20-yard line before he is finally taken down. Aiden Maxwell in on the stop. Fake the handoff, little read option there with Koska. Again in that aces formation. And interesting, Brian Brenner has not gone back to the inverted double wing on this drive. They have stayed in this formation the entire time. And now let's see here. 1st and 10 from the Elmwood Plum City 21-yard line. Weisenberger back to pass. Needs to roll to his right, running, and there is a flag on the play. It is caught at the 10-yard line and out of bounds. At about the 8-yard line is Braden Albee, but this one looks like it's a hold, and it's coming back. And let's hear the call.
Holding. Offense.
And that should be 10 yards from the original line, not from that spot now in high school football. That a rule that has been changed, thankfully, in the last couple of years. And so this should put them back to the 31-yard line, and it will be 1st and 20 here for Regis. Waiting, we're going to get more conversation here. This is not from the spot of the foul. This is not how we do it in high school football anymore, I believe. Let's hear the call.
Holding. Offense. Replay the down.
They're not going to tell us from the, so they're going to mark this up. Now, I don't know, Dan, we've been watching high school football all year. I thought they've been marking that off from the original line now, not from the spot, but they're marking that off from the spot. So we're looking at 1st and what? 20, now we're going to mark it. Now we're going to mark it.
Yeah.
What are we doing here? Okay, off we go.
I was about to say.
1st and 20. That used to be the rule in high school, which was just an awful, terrible rule. Luckily, they've changed that. Weisenberger back to pass. He is pressured and sacked. Back at the 40-yard line they go. Now this will be a big loss, and 2nd and about 30 coming up here for Regis. and a timeout taken by the Ramblers to talk about it. 1:18 left to go, second quarter. Regis 22, Elmwood Plum City 8. A holding penalty and now a sack has Regis going about 19 yards backwards. So a second and 29 rather is coming up here for Regis. Edgar now leading 15-0. You know, Glenwood City had the ball down just 8 on the goal line, and I believe they gave it up on a turnover. Edgar went in for a quick touchdown, so Edgar now leading 15-0, and that is the end of the first half in that game. Any other score updates you got for us, Dan?
Yeah, Chippewa Falls on the goal line or in the red zone for Hudson, still up 14-7 on Hudson. River Falls and Menominee after the first quarter tied up 7-7 there, so that's a pretty good game. Boyceville still up 22-0 in this second quarter, so a lot of good games going on around the league so far.
That Boyceville team could certainly be a team down the road for either Regis or Elmwood Plum City if they're able to get to level 3, so that's a interesting score to keep your eye on as well. All right, back out of the timeout. There's the 4-receiver set we've seen a lot. Hey, hand off to Koska. Big hole 30, 25. There he goes. 10-5. Touchdown, Ramblers. From a 2nd and 29 to a 40-yard touchdown run, Chase Koska is in for his first touchdown of the game, and just like that, it's 28-8. Regis leads 1:09 left to go in the second quarter.
And that was just a perfect play design there. I wasn't really understanding why they kept going back to pass because they've been the best when they've been running that running the ball. And what do you know? They fake the pass and do a running back draw right up the middle, and there was just no one at all in the middle of that field. Just a complete and easy just run for Koska all the way to the end zone. Only one guy to beat, and he beat him. Wow, just a great job by Koska.
Schroeder with the extra point makes it 29-8. I don't see our video producer at the moment, so we're going to keep it right here with 1:09 left to play. We mentioned a few of those other scores. Again, the winner of this game plays the winner of the Edgar versus Glenwood City game. Edgar up 15-0 at halftime in that one. And we certainly are hoping to be bringing you, if Regis does advance next week, hoping to bring you not only the game here on Classic Rock 92.1, but also on the Regis Rambler Sports Network on our video stream, which you can catch on YouTube on the Regis Catholic Schools webpage or on their Facebook page as well. So plenty of ways to catch Rambler football here in the playoffs. The defending Division 7 state champs. Again, they lost a number of guys from last year who were big pieces of that team, including Xander Rocco, of course, who went on to play Division 1 football and so on. But this team has really come together. They've really kind of been backs up against the wall in a lot of situations, and they have hung in there certainly, and it's been fun to watch this season, and we'll see if they can continue it in the playoffs. You never know. I mean, the team catches fire, Dan. You've seen it happen before. You never know what can happen in those.
Oh, yeah. Playoffs is a whole different kind of breed of football. This is where you see how actual teams come out to play and what kind of team they want to be.
Here comes the kickoff. This one looks like it's headed out of bounds, but Allen's going to take it right on the sideline about the 17-yard line. He gets crushed across the 30 and down at the 34-yard line. Well, a sandwich there for Rocco along with Alex Burdick on the tackle at the 34. And they, Allen has had, I tell you what, he's had a good first half, but he's taken some hits in this half as well.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, he's really been the lifeblood of that offense out there. A lot of the best plays have been run through him, and it's hard to see him take so many hits. He's trying to survive until halftime with the way that the Ramblers have been going at him out there.
1:03 left to play here in this first half. Regis 29, Elmwood Plum City 8. Here's a run to the left side, and not a whole lot for the backup running backs. Owen Kober, the sophomore, has 203 yards on the season. Gets a couple across the 35 to about the 37-yard line. We'll call it second and a long 7 coming up here for the Wolves, and they seem content to kind of run some clock at the end of this half, down by 3 scores.
Yeah, you don't want to give the Ramblers back anything and then have them go up another score on you here, because there's still plenty of time to do that. Brett Lifto still limping around out there, as you can see. These guys love this game so much. They're willing to put every bit of heart and effort in, even though the score isn't really what they want to see right now, but it's exactly what you want to see in a good football game.
Allen running left around the edge. He's got a lane down the far sideline to the 50, and then he's ridden out of bounds at about the 40-yard line. That might change their plan of attack now, as Terrace was in on the stop, but he gets to the 40. Now there's only 14 seconds left. They actually mark him at the 43. 14 seconds left. They've got 2 timeouts, and now all of a sudden the Wolves are kind of smarting that they weren't saving some clock there.
Oh yeah, and that's the hard part about breaking off a big run like that, because he fills you full of regret, especially when you've already ticked off so much time. Now, if you're going to do something, you're going to have to do an outside pass to kind of get maybe a little bit of chunk yardage and then kind of get out of bounds, unless you're going to try and keep up with that run game and hope for a big play.
Let's see if Bertzer maybe passes this ball here if they try to rattle off some yardage. It will actually go to Allen. They fake an end around to him, trying to run around the edge. He's tripped up maybe 2 yards to the 41-yard line. Tripped up in the backfield. I think Koska was the man who tripped him. And a whistle and a timeout by Elmwood Plum City, I believe. And so, you're 41 yards away. I guess this is Hail Mary time, right? There's no real other option here. They don't have a kicking game, and I suppose you could try to run in this situation, Dan. Maybe try to catch the defense playing a little bit of prevent, get some guys back there, but you could also just try to chuck it as far as you can and see what happens.
Well, Allen is the type of guy to be able to break off a big run, especially in these situations, but I would almost want them to just run this and hope for a big play to happen if you're a Wolves fan out there, because if you throw a Hail Mary and that gets picked off, and this team is a great returning team.
Yeah, that's a great point.
They could potentially get enough blockers and go down the field, and then suddenly this game's out of hand and it's even more messy than it already is.
Not the exact same situation, but you got an Auburn, Alabama kick return, a field goal return for a touchdown situation. Yeah, it could go from bad to worse just like that. You're not wrong. 4 seconds remain. Again, 1 timeout left for the Wolves. You wonder if Regis might take a timeout here after Elmwood Plum City comes out, just to kind of see what the formation is and maybe set up some things defensively. And it looks like they will bring out, again, Bertzer and Allen kind of in that wishbone sort of formation. Only one receiver. That's Sagini to the right. And so it is Bertzer, and he is going to go back to pass. Here comes the pressure. He'll launch this one near side. It is up, and it's out of bounds and incomplete. Zeros on the clock. No laundry on the field. That is the end of half number 1. All right, early thoughts here, Dan. 29 to 8 rather. Regis with the lead. Regis has scored on all 4 of their drives in this first half. They look very solid offensively. They didn't look great defensively on the first drive, but they settled in really well. Elmwood Plum City is going to get the ball to start this second half, but I'll tell you what, it's a big uphill climb at this point with a team like the Ramblers and what they've been doing on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, and this Ramblers offense is just so versatile. They haven't gone to one single guy any single drive. It's not the same with the Plumwood City team, because they are able to just they're running mainly through Allen for the most part, but this Ramblers offense has been gone through Koska, through Albee, through Ian Andrews. We see Tate getting in there and making some big plays, and then even Weisenberger was running out there, and he's not much of a running quarterback, or at least not statistically speaking. And then we saw them passing and spreading as soon as the defense started committing to that run. So it's going to be really hard for this Elmwood Plum City Wolves team to really climb back into this. They've dug themselves such a deep hole, but if they're able to stick some drives together, they can maybe climb back a little bit into this.
We'll see if they're able to. We will take an extended break here over our halftime break, and we'll get you some scores and other import of across the area as well. Going to be a good one. You are listening to us on Classic Rock 92.1 FM, WMEQ, Menominee, Eau Claire, Chippewa Falls, rock921.com, and iHeartRadio. And, of course, here on YouTube, Facebook, and on the Eau Claire Regis Catholic Schools website as well. Happy to have you along with us. Halftime, it's Eau Claire Regis 29, Elmwood Plum City 8, and you're watching us right here on the Ramblers Sports Network. welcome back in here to Carson Park. It is level 1 of the Division 7 WIAA state playoffs here in football, and it's Eau Claire Regis leading 29-8 over the Elmwood Plum City Wolves here at halftime. Pete Knutson, Dan Zons with you. Dan Price is our radio producer back in studio. Zane Cullinan is our producer on the video stream here on the Regis Ramblers Sports Network. Dan, as we take a look at both these teams after that first half, Regis scores on all 4 of their drives, leading 28-8 here. Ian Andrews got into the end zone twice on that drive. But for me, it was the big plays that did it. It was all running plays. A 41-yard touchdown run from Ian Andrews for the first touchdown. 32-yard touchdown from Braden Albee for the second touchdown. Andrews then punches it in from a yard out. But then the next touchdown, 3 of the 4 touchdowns over 30 yards. A 40-yard touchdown run from Chase Koska with about 1:09 left to play in that first half. They broke off some big runs against the Elmwood Plum City defense, so they did not seem to have the answer on the defensive side.
No, they did not. And even when they did have some answers, it was like almost 2 steps forward and then 3 steps back half the time, because they would either bite themselves, they either shoot themselves in the foot, or they would allow a ginormous run. Like, especially when they...
That's a technical term, by the way.
That's true.
Yes.
That is true. But they had some chances to make some stops against this Rambler offense, but this Rambler offense was just absolutely just going at it out there. I mean, almost every single drive just felt like they were always in flow, always in motion. Even when they got set back, even when they had some miscues from time to time, they were able to kind of recuperate and then find another way to break off a big run or find a big pass to get enough for a first down. It's just, it's hard to defend against.
Yeah, it certainly is. Edgar leading 22-0 right now over Glenwood City, by the way. 10:08 left to play here in the first or in the third quarter of that game as well. We'll give you some other scores once we get going here, but yeah, you talked about it. I think the underrated part too is just how well the Regis Rambler defense buckled down after that first drive. A rough first drive for them tackling, then all of a sudden they turned it up and have really stopped the Allen and Bertzer combination here for most of that first half. So Regis going to kick things off right to left, and here we go to start the third quarter. Downfield it goes. Allen takes it about the 11-yard line between the hash marks, looking for a lane, now cuts it left side across the 25 and tackled near the 27, maybe the 28-yard line. As good coverage there from the Ramblers. Tate was there alongside Kovacevic. And, well, at some point, it's got to get going here for the Wolves after a good opening drive that went 10 plays, 77 yards, and ended on an Allen 3-yard touchdown run. They need to get back to that quickly, or else it's going to be a long drive home going west here tonight.
Oh, yeah, especially just because of how well they started this game off. It looked like this was going to be a shootout between these two teams, a good ground and pound running, but just haven't really shown it since.
And now the ball is out here. Regis says that they have it. The whistle was late, and it is Regis' ball. Allen fell onto the back of a tackler there. I think that was Kovacevic that he fell on top of. Somebody on top of him was ripping the ball out, and the line judge came in right away and pointed Regis' ball. First drive of the half, and Regis turns him over, and just like that, the Wolves' hopes being dashed, and that is an I mean, that lets the air out of any balloon that was filled up for the Wolves. Holy cow.
Yeah, imagine it. Imagine having this very beautiful halftime speech by a coach and then suddenly just turning it over first, almost one of the first 2 plays of that game. Just not the way you want to start, and just really a great opportunity for the Ramblers to put this game away.
And right up the middle, it's Koska. Oh, he gets hit hard across the 25 and taken down at the 21-yard line. Drive starting at the 33, so he gets a 12-yard gain to start the drive. But whoa, Regis moves the chains here to start things off. Koska breaks it off, gets hit hard by Allen. I'm sure he's a little angry there after what happened on that fumble.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's letting that all go out there. Man, that choked me up for a second there. That was a big hit by Allen.
Took the wind out of you all the way up here. Holy cow.
That got hit so hard, I felt it up here.
Inverted double wing here. Weisenberger with a hard count. Pitches from right to left. That's Tate. Tate's got a hole. He's to the 10. Breaks a tackle to the end zone. Touchdown Ramblers. 21 yards. 2 plays. And just like that, Regis takes a 35-8 lead on Elmwood Plum City. 11:09 left to go here in the third quarter.
And talking about wind out of the sails, you could just see it there on that drive. No one wanted to hit Tate on that one. Especially the safety there had a chance to get a tackle before the end zone and just kind of reached his arms out and then just pulled him right back in. Didn't go for that tackle.
Regis will go with their backup kicker, Noah Labor. I call him backup. He pretty much shared the duties all season long in the extra point kicks. He'll make that one. And just like that, 36-8, Regis with the lead. 11:09 left to go third quarter. We'll come back right after this here on the Ramblers Sports Network.
Time of the drive, 37 seconds.
Welcome back in once again here to Carson Park. Eau Claire Regis turns over Elmwood Plum City on one play. They take two plays to run it into the end zone from 33 yards out. A 21-yard touchdown run from Everett Tate. Everett Tate now with his sixth touchdown of the season. And just like that, Eau Claire Regis 36-8. Don't look now, Dan, but one more touchdown. We're going to have a running clock situation in the playoffs, which you don't see a ton of. As Regis kicks this one off, Allen toward the 5. That's going to angle out of bounds by about, 2-3 yards. It's a really good kick from Gonzalez, and then all of a sudden kind of took a sideways bounce. And that will put Elmwood Plum City out at the 35-yard line with good field position.
Yeah, and great awareness there by Allen to just kind of let that ball bounce out of bounds. He saw that kind of start to take that right angle.
First down on the 35.
So now the Wolves will take over at the 35. Again, one fumble from Allen, one play. Just kind of laid up on top of Kovacevic on that last drive, and Ramblers ripped it out of there. And remember, there was a fumble earlier in this first half that Regis thought they had, and the referees may have blown the whistle a little bit quickly. They didn't on that last play, and Regis got that turnover, and now Elmwood Plum City. I mean, it's all or nothing. This is your season right here. Got to get something done. Down 36-8. They're going to bring out everything here. A little reverse play running right to left and breaking some tackles out across the 45 up near midfield. Goes the other tailback there, and Riley Beckel. And he gets all the way out to the 48-yard line for a 13-yard gain, and they're running reverses. They're going to run every trick in the book to try to get a touchdown here.
Oh, yeah, you don't want to go out going down 40, 50-8. You want to at least put up a little bit of a fight here. And that's exactly what the Wolves are doing. And who knows, maybe you even have a chance to come back in this one, but you can't just roll over. The third quarter just started.
Once again, the direct snap goes to Allen. Allen running student body right. He'll get across the 50, and he's dragged down from behind there by Burdick after he gets to the 47. About a 5-yard gain. That was very similar to the kind of runs we saw on the first drive of this game. 2nd and 5 now coming up for Elmwood Plum City.
Yeah, and if you're the Ramblers, you can't just kind of coast on this. This is a Plumwood City team Elmwood Plumwood City team that is really trying to fight back, battle back in this. Even though they're down, even though their spirits might not be the highest, they're still going to take whatever you guys give them on defense. And if you're the Ramblers, you can't be doing that because that's how comebacks start.
10 minutes left to play, third quarter. Regis leading 36-8. Over Elmwood Plum City. There's a bobbled snap on, looked like a reverse play, and this is going to go for a huge loss as Owen Kober is tackled up back into Elmwood Plum City territory. They'll give him forward progress to the 44-yard line. That is, about a 9-yard loss on the play, and now 3rd and 14 coming up here for Elmwood Plum City.
And right as they had a little bit of momentum on offense, another miscue there. A fumbled ball, and just you cannot have that happen over and over again. You need to be able to understand those mistakes and adjust from them. But we just haven't seen that a lot from this offense because they've been doing this quite often throughout this game.
We see Edgar now is starting to pull away from Glenwood City. They lead 29-0 now, early third quarter. They've added some early touchdowns in that one, so it very much so looks like whoever wins this game is going to be taking on Edgar. As a faker reverser, Allen running right now, countering left. He's only got a couple, and he had a 3rd and 14, and he doesn't even get back to the original line of scrimmage. He's about a yard short of that. 3-yard gain on the play, 4th and 11 for Elmwood Plum City, and we're going to find out if it's go time. I got to imagine it is. Now they're actually going to bring the punt unit out here, down by 28 points, and it's a tough call. But 8:44 left. This is your season. Something's got to happen in your favor at this point.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I would watch out for a fake if I'm the Ramblers too.
Right?
There's always a chance for it here, and especially if they give it right back. The way that this Ramblers offense has been moving, it's almost seemingly like it's going to be a touchdown.
Well, again, for me, it's one of those, who cares if you lose by 30 or lose by 50? A loss is a loss. You got to go for it here. But they are going to kick this one. It is not a good kick. End over end, and it kind of backs up almost at the 28-yard line, and that'll just be about a 25-yard punt on that one for Zellinger. And so Regis will take over at their own 28, and they've got a chance right now to get this to a running clock with 8:13 left to go in the third quarter with one more touchdown here.
And looking at some other scores around, got Menominee versus River Falls. Menominee's got the ball up 14-7 on River Falls there. That's a pretty good game to be watching. Chippewa Falls and Hudson hasn't come back from halftime yet, but that one's going to be a really interesting one to see. Potential upset here, Chippewa Falls and Hudson. And
Chippewa's 14-7 in that?
Yep. And Boyceville up 28-3 in this third quarter.
Here is the delayed handoff to Elby in the inverted double wing. Breaks a tackle 35, and he pushes the pile up to the 40. Maybe the 41. Late flag coming in. This looks like it could be a face mask on Elmwood Plum City, and add a couple yards on there as well. So a 12-yard run, and this is the old 5-yard face mask variety. It will be called by James Cunningham.
5 yards on the defense.
And
First down.
Pete's going to get up in a soapbox for 2 seconds. They can get rid of that 5-yard and just make it a 15-yard like every other league in the history of humans. That would be great going into next season. We'll get on the rules committee and change that. But a 5-yard face mask puts it up to the 45-yard line of Regis. So off we go. 12-yard gain plus 5. And now the pitch here. This is going to be right out, going right to left. He had a huge hole. They're trying to rip the ball out from behind. He gets across the 50, up near the 47, maybe the 46-yard line before Sagini drags him down, along with Outh as well. And he will get a 9-yard gain, and they say there's a penalty. Where is the penalty flag? Do you see it? I don't see it.
I'm not seeing it.
Hayden Maxwell and Logan Uth on the
Joe Roach maybe seeing things. He's getting like me all of a sudden, starting to see things out there. There is no flag on the play despite the announcement. 7:27 left to go here, third quarter. Regis 36 and Elmwood Plum City 8. Inverted double wing again. Here comes the pitch. This is Meyer right up the gut 40, and he is dragged down by 2 tacklers to the 37-yard line. Cut right up the middle. Zellinger tackles him along with a couple others, and there's a whistle, and Elmwood Plum City is going to take a timeout because I think Coach Bertzer could kind of see that everybody's sucking wind out there. And he can tell this is the game, right? This is your season, and I think my guess is this is going to be the last hurrah. He's going to get into him here a little bit and say, hey, if you want to keep things going, if you want a chance, this is the moment right now. You got to stop him, or else it's a running clock and it's pretty much over.
Yeah, and you play for the love of the game. You're not getting paid out there. You're doing this because you love it, and that's exactly what he's going to tell him. He's going to tell him, if you guys want to keep playing.
Get out there in the huddle, man. Yeah, you need to get out there and give him the pep talk, right?
I'm no coach. I'm no ref. I just talk about sports right now. But he's going to just go. He's going to rip in he knows exactly what this team is. He's watched them all season. They snuck into the playoffs just based on that last game of the season, which they were able to pull off a win and just pull right in. This is their season right here. This is their last chance, their last time they're all going to probably play as a team together with the amount of seniors that they have in this lineup right now. Parker Betchel, he's going to be gone. Riley Betchel, he's going to be gone. Mason Clare, he's going to be gone. These guys love playing with each other out here on the field, and they had such a great culture together. They need to try and tighten up and really stick it to them.
Regis is just trying to figure out a way to win right now, and they've got a chance to go downfield here. Weisenberger trying to get away from the pressure to pass. Now he ducks out of some tackles. He's going to run 35-30. Look at this scramble. Holy cow, it looks like Fran Tarkinen out there as he's rolled up at the 30. Hopefully he's okay. For a second, I thought he got rolled up on by Brett Kopp, but he is all right. And he gets to the 31-yard line. How about that scramble? A little 6-yard gain when it looked like it should have been about a 6-yard loss.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I thought they had him in the backfield there, but Weisenberger making some magic plays out there. You don't really see that often from him, as he's not really much of a scrambler, but when he gets in space, he can really make some moves.
I sounded like an old man there. I said, let's call that a Patrick Mahomes scramble. That's a little more up to date. 2nd and 4 now, and here's the delayed handoff to Albie up the gut. Looks like he's close to the first down. I think they say his knee's down about a half a yard short at the 28-yard line, so 3rd and short coming up here for the Ramblers after about a 3-yard run there for Albie.
And just something else to note, we talked about it earlier, but, man, you've seen it all over this game. The running back depth on this Ramblers squad is just deep. There's so many running backs that just get out there and can just make a play for you. You got Albie, Tate, Koska, Andrews. They've all made such a contribution on this team tonight.
And there's Andrews. He's going to try to break a tackle at the 20 and gets pulled down from behind by Bertzer at about the 19-yard line. That's a 14-yard gain. Pardon me, a little less than that. I don't think they'd updated on the board there, but nonetheless, a first down here for the Ramblers as they are into the red zone with 5:45 left to go third quarter. It's Regis 36 and Elmwood Plum City 8, and Regis is a touchdown away from basically putting this one on ice here tonight and riding a running clock rather into the level 2 of the playoffs. There goes Weisenberger under center, inverted double wing. Once again, the pitch will go to Meyer left to right, up to the 15, dragging some white jerseys with him up near the 14, maybe the 13-yard line. Alp was there along with Claire, dragging him down from behind, and about a 6-yard gain on first down.
And this has just been a testament just to how great their blocking has been up front. They've been winning in the trenches there. And to be able to pull off an inverted wing offense, you need to have great blocking. Otherwise, you're going to get trapped in the backfield every single time.
That offensive line so not underappreciated, but just not talked about enough. Here's Ethan Eager into the game. He had some touchdowns last week against Osseo Fairchild, and he'll get a couple here up to the 11-yard line. The senior got a start last week in the running back crew on senior night and had himself 2 TDs.
And making that tackle was Logan Alf, the 6-foot, 190-pound freshman on the defensive end. He's had a pretty great season for himself, too.
They've got some freshmen and sophomores. This team, they're going to lose some guys to graduation, but Elmwood Plum City's got a lot of really, really talented guys coming back next year as well.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure, especially on the offensive end.
Weisenberger with a pitch, right to left. That's Tate to the 10. He's to the 5, and he's spun down, Koska rather. At about the 3, maybe the 2-yard line. Give him an 8-yard gain on the play. It's 1st and goal now here for Regis, and they are feeling it here in level 1.
And they just want to put this game away and really allow some more of their guys to get off on the bench. And we've already seen a couple of guys that don't really get much of a chance out there. Austin Rideout had a couple of carries. Brandon Meyer had some carries too. He's had a little bit more than Austin Rideout has, but either way, they're going to get as many players as they can out there just to continue and get some more experience for their guys.
They're going to give this to the tailback. That was not Albies to the goal line. He's close. They bring Koska in, or no, pardon me, that was Burdick rather they brought in as a backup kind of tailback in that inverted double wing. It's the first time we haven't seen Albion in that spot. Now, we saw last week a few times for Eau Claire Regis, Luke Betcher also in at that tailback spot in the inverted double wing, but this time they go to Burdick on the play. So that could be a little bit of an interesting wrinkle going into level number 2. Just trying to try him out there, see if he's a good option. Burdick in there as well. We also see Terrace out on the left wing. Terrace going to get the pitch, looking for a hole. He's in! And Noah Terrace is in for what I believe is his first touchdown of the season. And he gets it in the playoffs here, 42-8. Regis with the lead, 3:04 left to play here in the contest, or in the third quarter, rather. And just like that, an extra point away from making this a running clock for the rest of this game here tonight as Labor is on to attempt it.
And that's special for him, too.
And Labor's kick, not a good one, but it hooks through. It was a line drive, but it skims over the bar, and it is 43-8. Ramblers lead. 3:04 left to go third quarter. We'll take a break. Be back right after this here on the Ramblers Sports Network.
72 yards.
Welcome back in here to Carson Park here tonight. It is all Regis here in level 1, 43-8. They lead Elmwood Plum City. Hey, special thanks to our two producers tonight, to Dan Price on the radio side, who's doing a great job as he always does on Classic Rock 92.1, and to our good friend, our man behind all the controls and that crazy mouse that he's got over there, Zane Cullinan, on our video stream here tonight as well. Here's a kickoff for Regis. And this is scooped up over by Bertzer, and he's got a big lane. Look at that speed across the 40. 45 trying to make a move, far sideline 40. He's got a couple men to beat, and he's tripped up at the 30-yard line of Eau Claire Regis. No flags on the play. That is the fastest we've seen him run tonight. And that looked like almost an angry speed over there from Bertzer as he gets deep into Regis territory.
Oh, yeah, and even after the play, he was just trying to roll over anyone that got in his way. Great job by Bertzer to take that angle and just great awareness to be able to bounce around. You know this Wolves team doesn't want to roll over, but, man, it's so hard when you're against such a well-rounded team such as the Ramblers. Both you and I said we thought this game was going to probably go like a 40-40 game, but if someone made a turnover, if someone made a mistake, this thing was going to probably be over quick. And
Allen running right here. He's got a lane to the 20. Got one man to beat downfield. Makes a cut at the 10. Breaks a tackle at the 5, and he's in. Broke a tackle from Ian Andrews at the 5-yard line, and just like that, one play. And, boy, I tell you what, somebody challenged somebody because they came out with a fire that we have not seen. I don't even think we saw that on the first drive this game when they scored. And just like that, 43-14 now, Ramblers lead.
That was just an amazing job there by Allen. Stayed up on his feet even though he grabbed and just spun completely off and ran just right into the touch. Just a great job there. Even though they're down in this game, they're showing that they still have some fire and passion that they want to continue to play this season.
Allen trying to run around the edge. He is hit. Goes for the end zone. I don't think he got it. Looking for a signal, and he's just short. He did not get the 2-point conversion. The officials are talking about this. Hold on a second. I have not seen the signal yet. We're going to wait till we go to break. Oh, they're going to give it to him. They're going to give him the 2-point conversion. The Rambler fans can't believe it. I'm shocked, Dan. I didn't think he got in. Maybe they're saying he stayed on top of a body. His knee never went down. Not really sure what happened, but it's a 2-point conversion. 43-16. Ramblers lead it.
Yeah, we kind of got our angle cut off there with the amount of bodies around that sideline, so we really couldn't see what happened there. But he might have barely grazed that pylon for a second, or even just crossed it while he was diving in. But either way, this Wolves team's not done, obviously.
All right, we'll keep it here, trying to decipher what the officials were talking about. I think we're going to get ready for the kickoff relatively quickly. Edgar leading 29-0 against Glenwood City, and Edgar has the ball with 10-12 left to play in their contest. So it looks like Edgar's moving on. I mean, Regis looks like they're on the way to moving on here tonight. It's not official yet, but it certainly feels like the Ramblers are destined to be headed there a little ways east on Highway 29 to Edgar. It should be a good one next week, but still, Elmwood Plum City, there was some aggression on that last drive. I don't want to write them off yet because they play like that the rest of the way. You never know.
Yeah, they play with some fire and passion, just something we haven't seen for a lot of this game.
Well, let's see if they go onside kick. They won't. Just kind of angle it to Andrews, who bobbles it, picks it up at the 26, makes a move, sideline at the 30, and then he is grabbed out of bounds at the 30. So made something out of nothing there on that ball, angling to the sideline. So the 31-yard line is where Regis will start off the drive.
And this defense has been the issue for most of this game for the Wolves, and they have not been able to get a stop at all this game. It's been a score on every single drive. So if we saw that kind of fire and passion from the offense, what are we going to see from this defense, and how can this Ramblers team continue to show their dominance out there on the offensive side of the ball?
Regis 43, Elmwood Plum City 16, 1:59 left to go here in the third quarter. And this is a handoff to Tate. Then he reverses it going right to left. There was a face mask in there that didn't get called. Koska gets it to about the 33. We saw a perfect angle of that. Looked like there was a pretty clear fit. The old 5-yard variety, if you will. They didn't call it, though, and it's a 2-yard gain, 2nd and 8.
Someday they'll change that rule just because they heard this broadcast.
Yeah. If I had that much power in my life, Dan, I don't think a lot would be different. Let's put it that way. All right, 2nd and 8 here from the 32-yard line. As Owen Weisenberger pitches this to Rideout, moving right to left. He'll get to the 34, turning the legs, and the whistle stops. And tackled on the play by Zellinger along with Sagini. And about a 3rd and 6 coming up for Regis. Again, the running clock is off. It's running right now, but with them getting it back under 35, the clock will stop on incomplete passes, plays out of bounds, and so on. We're about to tick under a minute left to go, third quarter. Regis 43, Wolves 16, 3rd and 6 from their own 34. Weisenberger pitches. Tate trying to go student body right. Here he goes, right side 34. He's got a lane. Far sideline 50. He's got a one-man to beat. 20-10. He is gone! A 66-yard touchdown run for Everett Tate. And just like that, Regis answers back with another touchdown of their own. It's now 49-16 Ramblers.
And Everett Tate's been having an enormous game so far. And there's still a fourth quarter to go right now. But, man, they must have been embarrassed that the Wolves marched right down the field on them to score that touchdown, because they came out with a passion of their own on the offensive end.
Yeah, Tate has a 21-yard touchdown run tonight, and now a 66-yard touchdown run. Labor to attempt the extra point. This one a much better one. It is up and through. 50-16. Regis leads. 38 seconds remain third quarter. Back after this here on the Ramblers Sports Network. Welcome back in once again here to Carson Park. And Eau Claire Regis with a 50-16 lead on the Wolves of Elmwood Plum City. 38 seconds remain third quarter. No running clock. Again, there was a 2-point conversion for the Wolves when they scored, only obviously the extra point for Regis. So it's a 34-point lead, which means we won't have a running clock until or if and when Regis were to score again without Elmwood Plum City scoring. So keep that in mind here. So Elmwood Plum City still in a situation where they can stop the clock, but only 38 seconds left here in this third quarter, and Regis has put up a 50-burger here tonight. As this will finally be scooped up at about the 13-yard line by Bertzer. Let's see if he can get that same speed he had on his last return. Not the case this time. Gets it across the 20 and maybe to the 25. Off the 24-yard line here as he is taken down by Andrews, Tate, and a couple others. Bertzer a little bit slow getting up, seems to be fine, and it's 1st and 10 from the 24.
Yeah, and we're just going to have to see how this Wolves team bounces back from that last 66-yard touchdown. Just a great job by Tate to bounce outside and show off his speed a bit. He can really run out there, but let's see if this Eau Claire Regis Ramblers can really just tighten up and not allow something as big as that, because, wow, was that a huge play for the Wolves.
Regis has had 7 drives tonight. They have all ended in touchdowns as Allen hands it off on an end around, moving off to the left side here in a big run across the 35, across the 40, and down near the 43-yard line is Riley Beckel. It's a good gain of about 19, I'll call it 18 on the play as Rocco brings him down. But a big gain there, first down, now at their own 42.
And we haven't seen much of Riley Beckel throughout most of this game. They really started incorporating him really recently. And, I mean, throughout most of the season, he's been a pretty decent rusher, 142 yards, 5.9 yards, a carry, and a touchdown. And he's more of a receiving threat, however, with 3 receptions, 89 yards, and 2 touchdowns on the receiving.
That'll take us to the end of the third quarter. So 50-16 Regis. Well in control at the moment. Elmwood Plum City trying to put up 1 or 2 last efforts here as we go into the fourth quarter. We'll take a quick break, come back right after this on the Ramblers Sports Network. I was going to let you finish your thought and then stop. So
I just saw the ref going like this. I'm like,
what's he doing?
Oh, oh, I guess it's the end of the third quarter. Chi High's got the ball back at the 50 now.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's going to be wild. They went, what, 8-1? Hudson? And they went
Hudson,
undefeated in the conference, right? 7-0?
Because they blew out
New Richmond?
Yeah. If they go down here.
What was the, let me see here. All right, we got 3, 2, 1. Welcome back in once again here to Carson Park. Eau Claire Regis leading 50-16 as we get set for the start of the fourth quarter. Elmwood Plum City with the ball at their own 42. They'll move right to left here in quarter number 4. You mentioned some scores. There's some interesting ones in Division I in the area. Chippewa Hudson. Tell us about that game, Dan.
Oh, yeah, Chippewa. They had Hudson beaten right down on them all the way to the 30-yard line, but then got a turnover and have been absolutely driving on a Hudson team that's undefeated in their conference.
I don't know what it is about Hudson or about Chippewa for Hudson. They're kind of the kryptonite. Here's a direct snap here for Elmwood Plum City. The handoff will go to Logan Outh on the right side. One came from Zellinger, who took the direct snap, and he gets a loss of a couple back to the 40-yard line as we are into the fourth quarter here. But I mention that only because Chippewa, when they played Hudson the first time, they lost only 13-8 at Hudson, and now they're leading Hudson, a team that went 8-1. They were 7-0, the Big Rivers Conference champion, and they're in danger of going out in the first round, first level here tonight. That's wild. Score there. Menominee up. It sounds like they're up big in their game on level 1 as well.
Oh yeah, they're up 28-7, and another similar game to this one. Boyceville, who's really just dominated Clear Lake through and through. 34-3 in that one in the fourth quarter.
There is a quick timeout here. They had to get the trainer across the field to take a look at one of the Wolves players. We had to run from the Regis sideline to the Wolves sideline. Another end-around play. They're going to get this to Beckel on the far side. He's got the sideline across the 50, and he's ushered out of bounds at about the 40-yard line of Eau Claire Regis. No flags on the play. That's about a 18-yard gain. We'll see where they mark it, but a good run there for Riley Beckel.
Yeah, and Riley Beckel really starting to make a name for himself out there. This is going to be his last season if they don't make some wild comeback. But he's been doing pretty great since he stepped into this game, just really kind of showing off his speed out there and kind of beating the Ramblers around the edge.
That Chippewa team, one more note on that, and they finished the season, I believe, 4-5, if I remember correctly. So they had a losing record, and they have a chance to knock off a 1 seed there in Hudson. Here's a run for Allen up the gut. He's got a really good one. And it looks like it's enough for the first down. Give him 11 yards up to the 30-yard line. They'll move the chains, stop the clock to move those as well. 11:03 left to go fourth quarter. 50-16 Regis leads here in level 1.
Yeah, going off what you just said, Chippewa Falls 4-5 and 3-4 in conference. So they were one of those bubble teams that barely snuck into the playoffs, and now have the chance to beat one of the top dogs in all football standings out here.
So I'm sure there's a number of cliches we could use with that. What, chip in a chair, right? Again, why not us? Why not now? That sort of thing. I'm sure that was the message. We got a whistle, and I wonder if offside going to be called here on Regis. I wonder if Bertzer on that last return got hurt, and that is why we're seeing Zellinger in the game right now as the other of that wishbone tailback. You got Allen and Zellinger in there, and there's no Bertzer at the moment. Remember that last play that he was in was that return. He kind of maybe got rolled up on a little bit there at the end. I wonder if that's why he's out and why the trainer had to run over to take a look at him.
Yeah, and I believe that's him on the bench.
Now,
yeah. Yeah, he hobbled off. He didn't look too good.
There's Allen running right, looking for the first down on 1st and 5, and he's close to it on the right side. Gets about 4 on the play. In that wishbone formation, a couple of Wolves again, slow to get up. Rocco was in on the stop. 2nd and 1, 10-16 left to go, 4th quarter. And there's Wolves who are hobbling off the field right now, as you see if you're watching us on the Ramblers Sports Network. They look a little gassed. They look a little tired. And it's also the other thing. We've dropped probably about 10 degrees since game time, if not more than that. We're down in the mid-40s. You can feel it up here in the booth, too. No wind, but it's a chance for some rain later tonight, so you can almost feel that new front coming in as Allen hands it off on an end around. They missed the first tackle, but they won't miss the second on out. They'll get him all the way back to the 28, maybe the 29-yard line. That's about a 6-7 yard loss on the play. Andrews in on the stop, along with Semling. Koska there as well. They'll mark him to the 28-yard line, and it'll be 3rd and about 8 here for Elmwood Plum City.
And something to note, this is primarily their starting defense for the Ramblers. So this is still the starting team out there.
Yeah. Now we see Bertzer check back into the game, so Zellinger heads off. Bertzer trying to give it all he can. Again, I'm sure not feeling too great after that last return. Bertzer and Allen in the wishbone formation there. One receiver right, tight end lined up left. Back to an off-balance formation as well. And Bertzer fumbles the ball. He's got to go back to get it. Allen scoops it up at the 40, and he's dropped. Back at the 43-yard line, Chase Koska comes in and makes an exclamation point kind of stop. It's 4th and forever. And the punt unit is out, and that might as well be the white flag at this point with 8:44 and the clock running left to play. Regis up 50-16, and you can almost book a trip to level 2 already here for the Ramblers.
Yeah, especially because that has happened multiple times throughout that game for this Wolves team. They just have not been able to handle that snap whatsoever. It's just been a complete issue and has just led to so many turnovers and so many stopped drives that you thought might have a momentum shift for them.
You remember back to the second drive of this game after that first drive as there's a low snap. Punt will be got into here and it'll be taken about the 12-yard line. It's muffed. It's muffed back by Haas, and he'll fall on it at the 12. So Wolves were not there in time to get to it, but Haas will fall onto it. But you remember back to the second Elmwood Plum City drive, right? They went down. Regis goes down, scores. Elmwood Plum City goes down and scores. Regis scores again, right? So it's 15-8. And you thought, okay, they can just answer back just like they did on the first drive. But they did that exactly. They fumbled one of the snaps. They went backwards a little bit. And ever since then, it's just felt like this offense for the Wolves has been going backwards, and Regis is just pounding it, going right downhill the entire way.
And that's the thing about this Ramblers defense. If you have a mistake, if you have a miscue out there, they're going to make you pay for that. You can't just expect to be able to come back from a random miscue and expect, oh, yeah, it's all going to be fine. I can just run up the middle and do whatever. This is a top-tier defense in the league here, and you just cannot allow that to happen if you're going to try and win this game.
Drive starts at the 13-0, and Chase Kuska runs it up the gut for about 4 on first down to the 17-yard line. 2nd and 6 coming up here for Regis. 50-16, the Ramblers lead with 7:40 left to play. And despite having an official running clock, I'm sure Regis going to do a steady diet of just keeping this right up the gut, up the middle, not even messing with the sidelines, and trying to run as much clock as possible. High pitch there, but it is handled, and the run will go across the 20 to about the 23-yard line. On the carry for Nick Helland, who gets his first carry of the game for Eau Claire Regis. And he'll get it out to the 23-yard line for a 6-yard gain and a first down as they move the 6.
Yeah, only 5 carries on the season for him, but 56 yards. That's almost 10. That's over 10 yards a carry there. So no slouches in this running back room. They have plenty of playmakers out there and plenty of depth.
We know that this Rambler team is always has all those kind of running backs, and now a run to the right side here, and that is John Cole with the carry now, and they'll continue to get a few more guys onto the tally sheet to the 30-yard line. Give them 7 yards. But you're going what? 8, 9, 10, 11 running backs deep right now, and you're still rattling off these big gains, and Elmwood Plum City wants a timeout to stop the clock with 6:43 remaining. here in the fourth quarter. Edgar is a winner tonight, 36-0 against Glenwood City. You can put that one in the book. So Edgar will advance, and the winner of this game, which looks like it's going to be Regis, has a date on the road next week against Edgar, and that should be a fun one. Now, again, the winner of that game will play the winner of likely Boyceville. They were up big on Clear Lake at last check, correct?
Yep, right now up 41-3 on Clear Lake in the fourth quarter. They have the ball, so they're kicking off the ball, so they just scored. They're looking to wrap up that game. Ramblers looking to wrap up this game. However, a team that's not ready to wrap up, Hudson, who just went down another score to Chippewa Falls now.
Wow.
Now is a chance to go up 14
so
on
it's
Hudson.
20-7 Chippewa at the moment?
At the moment, if they can hit this extra point, 21-7, and wow, that could be a really interesting shakeup here.
That'll be one of the things I'm sure they'll talk a lot about on the Football Friday Night Show over on Newstalk WMEQ. All right, backups into the game now for Regis on offense here on 2nd and 3, and there is illegal motion. Regis going to go back 5 yards.
Dead ball. False start.
Ramblers
Offense.
bringing Joey Bramer out there at the quarterback spot. He is just a freshman, 6'1", 147 pounds, and he's getting, I'm sure, some very valuable, memorable experience here in his freshman season running the ship here for Regis. And he'll have right out as his right wing, and I believe Ethan Eager is his left wing. And they will give it to the tailback instead. And that's the man we talked about a little bit earlier from last week, and Luke Betcher, who runs it up the gut for a couple. And now a third down and about 6 coming up from the 27-yard line. 6:26 remaining here in the fourth quarter and the clock ticking. The other game to keep your eye on is a 4-5 matchup. Spring Valley against Hurley. We'll see if we can maybe track down a score on that one as well. But there's a chance for a little Dunn St. Croix matchup next week between Boyceville and Spring Valley in Level 2. And that should be another good rematch in that one. As here's a pitch around from right to left edge, and some running room here for Strom out on the edge to the 35, and he gets to the 36-yard line, 37-yard line before he's taken down. 10-yard gain that time, and Regis moves the sticks with 6 minutes remaining here in the contest.
And it's getting closer to a win here for the Menominee Mustangs, who are trying to hold off River Falls from making any kind of a comeback. 4 minutes here, clock running down here with them leading 28-7 on River Falls, so that could be another thing to watch too.
50-16, Regis leads here over Elmwood Plum City. A whistle and another illegal procedure here on Regis, getting a little bit of a head start.
Dead ball. False start.
And they will back up 5 yards with 5:41 left to play here in the fourth quarter. Regis up by 34. No running clock at the moment. We did have one earlier tonight, but it was wiped off by a touchdown from Elmwood Plum City. So, again, those are the scores we're keeping our eye on, but it will be Edgar likely versus Regis next week in Level 2. Regis will have to go on the road. You don't see that often. Usually they get the first 2, if not the first 3 games at home, but getting a 3 seed, they've got to go on the road in week number 2 of the playoffs.
Currently, Spring Valley against Hurley up 29-16 are the Cardinals on the North Stars.
And there's a little reverse handoff here that gets blown up in the backfield. They're trying to get it to Strom, and he gets tackled relatively quickly there by Brett Kopp. And so 2nd and long coming up here for Regis back at the 31-yard line. 2nd and about 16 maybe even 17 with where they're at. 5:10 left to go as we tick down here in the fourth quarter. Remember, in about a half an hour, you can tune into Football Friday Night over on Newstalk WMEQ. That's 106.3 FM in the Eau Claire area and AM 880 in the Menominee area, and again on the iHeartRadio app. 9:30 to 11, that's a statewide postgame show that will be coming to you live from Milwaukee. So here's a handoff up the gut for Betcher, 40, and he gets taken down at the 44-yard line. He gets all that penalty yardage and lost yardage back and more, and brings up a third and much more manageable here. About a 13, 14-yard gain, tripped up at the 43-yard line, and it'll be 3rd and about 4 here for Regis with 4:33 left to play and the clock ticking here in the contest.
And it is just so interesting to see just so many running backs being able to contribute in such ways. Usually you see there's always like one running back that just cannot get much going for himself out there, but man, most of these Rambler running backs have been able to just get chunk yardage no matter where it is.
All right, back to pass. Here goes the freshman. Throws this one over the middle. It's deflected and incomplete. As Brahmer was looking downfield, trying to find his receiver there, Ben Baltz. not able to get it to him. Pretty well covered downfield by Elmwood Plum City. And for the first time tonight, the Ramblers are going to have to punt. They have scored on every drive a touchdown tonight. This will be the first time that they have not. Shula, who is into the game. Alex Shula has been battling injuries this season, and he gets back into punting this situation. He was a very good punter before that injury. He has not played a ton tonight, but, boy, if he can get in on the offensive and defensive side of the ball next week, look for Regis to be in good shape. There's that beautiful spiral. Takes a Regis bounce at the 20, inside the 15, and it rolls down to the 12-yard line there. A 38+7, that is a 45-yard punt for Alex Shula, and you can tell what kind of a difference he can make, even in the special teams game when he's healthy and able to punt.
Yeah, and it looked like he'd been waiting to punt all game long with the way he kicked that ball. He hasn't seen a lot of action out here on the field, but when he does, he always is able to make a play with that 6'5", 180-pound frame. Just an absolute star to watch for, especially in this upcoming game against Edgar. I mean, barring a 4-minute comeback.
I don't think you're in trouble at this point.
Yeah.
You'd have been in trouble if you had said that in the first half. But at this point, I think you're in good shape to say that. As it'll be Zellinger who is back as the tailback along with Allen. Allen fakes the end around and tries to run right side to the 15, bulling over defender at the 20, taken down up near the 22, maybe the 23. Looks like he's got first down yardage. A few of the backups in for Regis here on the defensive side of the ball. We'll try to get you all those names. I believe the man on the tackle was John Cole. We're going to say Mason McCoy was in on it as well. First down here for Elmwood Plum City with 3:42 in the clock running left to go fourth quarter. Regis 50, Elmwood Plum City 16.
And here's a scoring update for you. Hurley trying to make a late comeback into this game. They were just down 29 to 13, I believe, and now that's a 29-24 game with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Wow.
Them with the ball.
Close one there. Baldwin Woodville also winning over Ellsworth tonight, 23-6. Thanks to our friend Dave DeVille for passing along that score. There's a run to the right side across the 25, maybe the 26-yard line here for Elmwood Plum City, as they will try to continue to move the chains as we're about to tick under 3 minutes left to go. Hey, you're listening to Classic Rock 92.1 FM, WMEQ, Menominee, Eau Claire, Chippewa Falls, rock921.com, and, of course, for free on the iHeartRadio app. And you're watching us right here on YouTube and Facebook and all that good stuff as part of the Ramblers Sports Network. Again, special thanks to our two producers working hard tonight. Dan Price on the radio side, Zane Cullinan on the video side this evening. We're going to try to take this big video setup on the road next week to Edgar. We'll see what happens. We're going to at least try. I think we're going to give it a shot. We'll be making some calls this week, as here's a run to the left, and Regis has that one read like a book. About a 2-yard loss on the play on the run for Kober. And into the backfield there for Regis to make the stop was Tyler Gailing.
The ball carrier, Austin right out.
And right out there as well. And a loss makes it 3rd and 8. Pretty fun. I mean, you get in the playoffs and you're a freshman, sophomore. You imagine going into every playoff game. It's going to be close, or I'm probably not going to get a chance to play tonight. And all these freshmen, sophomores getting to play. I know it's not necessarily fun for Elmwood Plum City, but some of those guys getting in and on the Regis side, this is the stuff you remember, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And it's great for the experience factor because who knows, you come back into the playoffs and you've already played a few snaps.
It's a great point. Running left here is Zellinger, and he'll get to the 31-yard line. Again, Gailing in on the stop. Cole there as well. 4th down and about 2, and I'd imagine that Elmwood Plum City will just stay on the offensive side of the ball with 1:35 left to go here in the fourth quarter. St. Croix Central beats Altoona. How about this? 62-6 in the first round of the playoffs.
Don't look now, though.
Yeah,
Hudson's creeping back up on Chippewa Falls.
Oh, boy.
Just scored another touchdown of their own.
Hashtag Raider Nation right there.
They're hoping for a comeback.
4th and 2. Here's a run to the right side looking for the first. Oh, I think he got it with that last little effort there, Owen Kober, on the direct snap. Needed 2. He got 3. And they'll move the chains. Stop the clock for a moment. But the writing on the wall here with 1:08 left to go here in the fourth quarter. Stay tuned. We'll have a short post-game show for you as well after a quick 1-minute break. Wrap up everything. We'll see if we can get Brian Brenner's attention up here, but my guess is we'll leave that for a conversation for next week before level 2.
1st and 10 for the Wolves at their own
as we
34.
tick to 52, 51, 50 left to go here in the contest. Regis going to win another level 1 game as here's the handoff. Big hole left side. 40-45 on the handoff to Logan Alf. And he'll get 10 and a first down. That'll stop the clock momentarily. 41 seconds remain here in the fourth quarter. 50-16, Regis leads.
And even though it's primarily some of the younger, some of the backups in this game for Regis on that defense, it's definitely prideful for your young guys to be able to make some kind of moves against a pretty stout Rambler team, even if they're young. And this Rambler defense still is holding its own for the most part.
It is a next man up mentality here at Regis, and you see that even here with those second, third string guys in. Here's the direct snap to Kober running right, and he will drag a tackler across the 50 to about the Regis 49, maybe the 48. As Rideout gets the stop, and with 3, with 2, with 1, that's going to do it. Brian Brenner is out to get some handshakes, and the game is over. So Regis will move on with a 50-16 win here over Elmwood Plum City tonight. They will take on Edgar next week in level 2 of the playoffs. We'll take a 1-minute break. We'll come back with our post-game show here on Classic Rock 92.1 and the Regis Ramblers Sports Network right after this here on the Ramblers Sports Network. Again here to Eau Claire Regis Carson Park. The Ramblers winning level 1 50-16 over Elmwood Plum City. Pete Knudsen, Dan Zahns with you. Dan Price, our producer, back in studio. And, of course, Zane Cullinan here on the Regis Ramblers Sports Network. Well, Dan, complete game for Regis. There's one drive tonight that they did not score on, and it was all touchdowns on every drive that they scored on here tonight. Before we get to some scores from around the area, just your impressions on Regis with that kind of offense and with how they shut down defensively after that first drive. I mean, you know, the old adage, defense travels, right? All that kind of thing. You get to the playoffs, that's going to be big. It just seems like an all-around really solid first game for this Rambler squad.
Absolutely, and it's going to be hard for any kind of defense to match up against an offense that can run this smoothly and can utilize such a great depth of running backs that are all just great contributors out on that in those skill positions. I mean, we talked about Ian Andrews, Everett Tate, who had his home big type of game out there.
Yeah, he did.
Braden L.B., who's kind of that big ground and pound guy that had some great bursts of speed out there. Chase Koska, even some of the younger guys went out there and made some plays like Austin Rideout and Brandon Meyer. I mean,
so that touchdown from Terrace as well. At the end. Yeah.
Great way to get his first of the season.
Yeah, and it started off with an Andrews touchdown run. Then remember that Allen answered back with a 3-yard touchdown run of his own, made it 8-8. But after that, Albee a 32-yard touchdown run. Andrews a 1-yard touchdown. Koska 40-yard touchdown run. It was a 29-8 Regis lead at halftime over Elmwood Plum City. Then Tate would get into it in the third quarter. That 21-yard touchdown run made it 36-8 after that. Terrace a 2-yard touchdown run. We saw a little bit of life from Elmwood Plum City after that with a touchdown of their own. But then Everett Tate, a 66-yard touchdown run. That was a nail for Elmwood Plum City here tonight. So other scores, as we mentioned, Edgar with the win tonight. They win, I believe it was 36-0. I got it written down somewhere on one of these pieces of paper, but 36-0. So it'll be Regis versus Edgar, likely at Edgar, with them being the 2 seed next week, as the Ramblers will run off back to the locker room and celebrate this one as well. So a big moment moment for them, certainly. And then, around the rest of the way, we saw Boyceville with a pretty convincing win against Clear Lake. How's that Spring Valley Hurley game doing there, Dan?
Hurley was not able to complete the comeback, and Spring Valley wins at 29-24. But we still have another game going on here as Menominee finishes off their game against River Falls 28-14, so they'll move on as well. Right now, Chippewa Falls driving on Hudson after they got the ball back. 21-14, Chippewa Falls still.
Yeah, they have the lead. How much time left in that one?
5 minutes, 50 seconds.
Wow. So Chippewa looking for that upset bid against Hudson. Again, you can catch all the scores and all the analysis reports from all over the state on News Talk WMEQ. Again, that's AM 880 in Menominee, 106.3 FM in Eau Claire if you want to tune into the radio dials. If not, just tune in on the iHeartRadio app, search for WMEQ, News Talk WMEQ, and at 9:30 in about 20 minutes or so, you can tune into that show. There will be a report from this game if I can get broken down and set up and into the car in time. I think 9:38 is when I'm told I'm going on that show. So we got some fun happening here. Hopefully, I know we'll be, I believe, there in Edgar on 92.1 for sure. Hopefully, we'll have the video stream along with this as well. That'll at least be the hope. And we'll hopefully be on both of those also going into next week. So just tune into Regis and to the iHeartRadio social media channels to know where we'll be headed next week. But do plan on 7 o'clock next week on Friday in Edgar for the Level 2 game for Regis. All right, Dan, been a lot of fun, and hopefully we get to do it again next week.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a good one.
All right, certainly is. A special thanks, as always, to Dan Price, our radio producer, and for Zane Cullinan, our video producer here on the Ramblers Sports Network here tonight. A special thanks as well to Brian Brenner for joining us in our pregame show as well, and to the head coach of the Elmwood Plum City Wolves in Mike Bertzer. For Dan Zons, I'm Pete Knutson. Your final score here from Eau Claire, Regis, and Carson Park tonight. It's the Regis Ramblers 50